Still clearing the main straightaway here before we settle down for a start on the 600 this afternoon at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Front row at 177 miles an hour. Ken Schrader of Fenton, Missouri is there, and Brett Bodine is alongside. So it's a Chevy Ford to begin the day here in the 600 miler, a race that was spectacular last year, and at the conclusion it all came down to a show for Dale Earnhardt. Other previous winners in the event include Rusty Wallace, the 5-time winner, Darrell Waltrip lining up for this race, and Davey Allison getting set to go here this afternoon and this evening. Well, once again, let's try to get the chairman of the board. That would be Bruton Smith to give the command to fire these engines and get this race underway for the 34th time.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Field ready to buckle down, button up, and run it out. 400 laps the distance to be run, Neil. Got any predictions on who might pull this one off?
Ken, there's so many cars been running good. I kind of use the Winston as a gauge because it's going to be same circumstances. Mark Martin awful good in that thing. Earnhardt, a couple of guys really ran good that night. I can't help but think they'll come back today. Schrader made a lot of moves, you know, he won the Winston, ran good in the Winston Open and ran good in the Winston, so he's certainly be dealt with from the pole.
It's a record crowd out today. Over 162,000 tickets sold. It is the 5th time in a row that the 600 has been sold out. Probably the best race we ever saw here was when Benny Parsons and Darrell Waltrip went right down to the finish line in the year 1980. It could be duplicated. I'm looking for Mark Martin to have a sensational afternoon. He nearly won the Winston last Saturday night. He has been very formidable through all the practice periods. He's looked as stout as anyone out here. But there is a great potential for an upset in the form of Michael Waltrip in number 30. He won here yesterday and literally drove under Ernie Irvin with about 6 laps to go and then sped on to victory. He's driving a car that has never been run before, although they've changed the front end on it 4 different times. They keep trying different snouts, but they think they've got one that will really work, and he has a great starting position in that 6th position. You're looking from inside the car of Bobby Hillen. He's in the Junie Donlevy car, number 90, and that machine ought to give us some spectacular pictures as the day continues, and the evening as well. It's about 4.5 hours to decide this 600-mile contest. Along pit road, there is a great deal of not anxiety, but let's say anxiousness because of the changing temperature. It may not get dark, but the temperature is going to dip, and do you have the right suspension system to carry that last 100 miles?
That's going to be a big question, but one thing I can't help think of, Ken, you run one of these motors 500 miles week in, week out. That's about the length of the fuse on these things. Okay, we're going to put another 100 miles on it, but it's also going to be late at night. The motor is going to be asked to perform at a higher level. The cooler it gets, the faster they go. So that last 100 miles is probably going to be the hardest mileage put on that engine. There's going to be a lot of these things lay down before the day's over.
Indeed, there will be. But one of the big stories here with the point battle so intense. Imagine, come to this 10th race, just 20 points between 1st and 2nd, and they're about ready to roll out for 2 laps. They'll go back into that garage area and do anything to get these cars back on the track, try to score some points toward all that bonus money at the end of the year from Winston. All right, field is rolling. We're set for a beginning to 400 laps, 600 miles of stock car racing today here on TBS. Let's take a look at the starting grid for the 34th annual Coca-Cola 600. On the pole at 177 plus miles an hour, new record for the 600 from Missouri, Ken Schrader. Alongside is Brett Bodine from Chemung, New York, in the Kenny Bernstein number 26 Ford. In row 2, it's Mark Martin, considered a contender to take it all for the first time for Jack Roush in the 34th annual Go. Beside him is Rick Mast, his best qualifying effort of the year. In row 3, it's Jeff Bodine, winner at Sears Point 2 weeks ago. And Michael Waltrip, winner of the 300 yesterday afternoon. In row 4, Sterling Marlin, 8 second places, still looking for his first win. And Rusty Wallace, He's second in points, and he means to do well today. Row 5 is Rick Wilson in the Richard Petty car. Alongside is Jimmy Hensley, driving the late Alan Kowicki, number 7. Row 6 is Greg Sachs out of Manatuck, New York. And alongside is Morgan Shepherd for the Wood brothers. In row 7, it's Bobby Labonte, the top rookie in the field in car number 22. And Dale Earnhardt, two-time winner of the 600, is on the outside of row 7. In row 8, it's Lake Speed from Mississippi and Derek Cope from Spanaway, Washington. Row 9 is Wally Dallenbach Jr. from Colorado and Ted Musgrave, the ASA star who's been so strong this year. In row 10, Ernie Irvin ready to roll. Ricky Rudd is there as well. His best finish in this event has only been a 7th. Row 11 is Jeff Gordon, the outstanding 21-year-old rookie from Pittsburgh, Indiana, and Phil Parsons. Row 12, Davey Allison, former winner of the 600. Kenny Wallace, another outstanding rookie, is flanking him. Row 13, Harry Gant, having a bad season thus far, wants to turn it around today. And Hut Strickland from Alabama in a Junior Johnson car. Row 14 is Jimmy Spencer, Mr. Excitement from Pennsylvania, and Bobby Hillen from Midland, Texas. Row 15 is Texas Terry Labonte, the former Winston Cup champion, as well as Bill Elliott. He too trying to come back from a poor start on 1993. Row 16 is Darrell Waltrip, the 5-time 600-mile champion, and Dale Jarrett, the 1993 Daytona 500 champion. Row 17, Jimmy Smut Means from Alabama, and Rich Bickle. Row 18, Kyle Petty, well back in the field today. Beside him is Dick Trickle from Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. Row 19, Mike Wallace, another one of those Wallace kids out of Missouri. Chad Little from Spanaway, Washington in row 19 as well. Row 20. And as they come down in row 20, it's Jimmy Horton and Joe Ruttman, Dave Marcus, the provisional starter, and the 34th annual Coca-Cola 600 is underway.
These guys are going to be jockeying around early. They want to get a good position. We see Schrader jump out there in the lead. The white car is Schrader, the blue and white Mark Martin on the inside. Martin at number 6. He's awful strong all week in practice and the other night in the Winston. Boy, when they race side by side like this, Schrader's getting a little bit of breathing room.
4 car lengths as they clear the 4th turn for the first time. And with 399 laps to go, by 6 car lengths, Schrader jumps out in front. Into second, Mark Martin, Rick Mast pulls up into third. Mast to the number 1 car who had started in 4th, getting a spot. Back straightaway as they straighten him out. Schrader, he's a man on a mission as he pulls to a 3-car length advantage. Here's Earnhardt coming up beneath Rusty Wallace. There's Jimmy Hensley in the car 7 right there as well. Morgan Shepherd in the 21 deployed just in front of Earnhardt.
There goes Rusty right back around the outside of the number 3 car of Earnhardt.
That's a battle for 11th position. Earnhardt on the bottom. Car sticking. Holding well. Rusty Wallace staying right with him. Remember the fireworks at Talladega between these two, and Wallace in the 2 car came across the finish line 8 feet in the air upside down to finish 6th. Here they are still side by side. Wallace claimed that wasn't Earnhardt's fault. He did get bunted. He was trying to throw a block out there to hold position as they came to the line that day. How will it end this day in the Coca-Cola 600 and still side by side? For the moment, Earnhardt has the advantage. Good struggle. Back for 11th position while Morgan Shepherd runs 10th. Meanwhile, for the lead, it's a Chevrolet out in front. Schrader, who set the new record at 177 plus with a mile and a half. And right behind him, Mark Martin closes up.
Yeah, Mark really closed up once he got around Rick Mast. In the second, he's moved right up behind Schrader. Seems like he's got a little bit of muscle right up off the corner. Mark's car works good as he gets in the throttle up off the gas, up off this corner.
Hut Strickland in trouble. The McDonald's car slowing down out there. Hut Strickland slowing down, and there go your leaders into turn number 1. It's Schrader in first, Martin in second. Look at that battle for second place, or the third place beginning to develop as the 15 comes down on the inside. Bodine.
26 car, boy, on pit road, I'll tell you, Ken, that's unusual. Something had to go wrong on it for him coming that early.
The Quaker State car for Kenny Bernstein on pit road. Well, that Haviland lineup that we saw at the beginning of the race had Schrader and Martin first and second. And after 5 laps, that's just how they're running. Here comes Martin peering to the inside and going for the lead. This taking place at lap number 6. Turn 1, change of leadership. Give it to Mark Martin. Schrader falling to second. And meanwhile, popping up into that third spot is Jeff Bodine. Rick Mast back to 4th. Michael Waltrip stable in 5th position.
Well, every time you get your stopwatch out in clock practice, that 6th car has been one of the fastest cars on the track. And I think everybody was looking for him to be able to jump out there early.
Let's check on the Brett Bodine pits.
He came in, Ken. The engine was silent. He has taken his gloves off, thrown them on the floor of the car, and is now unhooking his helmet. The engine has failed on Brett Bodine's car early in this race.
Brett Bodine getting in just 5 laps, and it seems to be over. Guy who gave it a tremendous run in qualifying.
Guy giving it a tremendous run now. Schrader, he followed the 6th car for a while, and then he turns right back down under it, takes the lead away, going in the 3rd turn. Ken Schrader's back out front.
And Jeff Bodine in the 15 closes right up on Martin. Chevy in 1st, Ford 2nd, 3rd, 4th, Pontiac in 5th. At Pontiac, Michael Waltrip. And remember what Darrell Waltrip said about pace and why it was so important. Just note that at the present time, Darrell Waltrip was running well back in the field, pacing himself, taking his time before he'll start to bring number 17 up. He's running 31st at this moment, which is 8 laps deep into the race.
Well, watching the 15 car right on the deck lid of the 6. We heard him say a while ago, we heard the crew chief say that they loosened that 6 car up for this race. Whenever Schrader got behind him, got him loose enough he could pass him, they might have to deal with that. They might be just a tick loose right now.
Back to Dick Burton.
Brett Bodine walking back to the garage. Can you tell what happened to that engine, Brett?
Just something broken about it, man. It blew up big time. I just can't believe this happens to us. It's one of the biggest races of the year, and you know, we had such a good car all week, last week and this week, just waiting for this day to come, and you know, it's just real disheartening.
That's the picture of disappointment right there.
Ken, one reason it's so disappointing to these guys is they probably had 5 or 6 or maybe 7 or 8 engines in that car in the last 2 weeks, trying different engines, and you usually say, I'll pick my best one, and then it run that short of time. It really makes you wonder at times.
So there's your battle up in front. It's Schrader and Martin, Chevy versus Ford, with Bodine running 3rd, Mast 4th, and Michael Waltrip in 5th.
Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Coca-Cola 600, here to cap off your Memorial Day Sunday afternoon. Ken Schrader leading Jeff Bodine. We're early on in the action here today, and a great race shaping up already. One of the stories we'll keep track of for you all afternoon here, the True Value Hard Charger battle. True Value Hardware posts $5,000 in every Winston Cup race, $50,000 season long. The leader of every lap gets 5 points. 2nd through 5th get corresponding points. Here's a look at the standings at this point of the season. Rusty Wallace with 4 victories, your leader in the True Value Hard Charger standings over Dale Earnhardt, Mark Martin, Ernie Irvin, Kyle Petty is 5th. All those drivers bidding for those points. Today's awarded, of course, at the end of the season, the $50,000 big prize.
Thank you very much, Rick Benjamin. There you see from the steel aerial platform these shots of the Coca-Cola 600. Steel, makers of the world-famous steel chainsaws, string trimmers, and other outdoor equipment. Take a look a little further back in the field. There's Hut Strickland's number 27, which has come back on the track. You'll recall he had some problems earlier, and he's back with the program at the 34th position. Randy Pemberton has more.
Well, gentlemen, the Junior Johnson car has a little bit of a problem. It's got a brake pedal that's sticking. Now, it's sticking down on the rotor, so the brake pads are sort of rubbing on the rotor, and it's slowing the car down. They're going to try and put a new spring in it to help retrieve that brake pedal back up where Hut can use it. So a little bit of a problem, but certainly not as bad as the throttle sticking, I would suggest, Neil.
No, you're right. What they'll do is they'll actually put a manual type spring up under the dashboard that goes down to the brake pedal and just physically pull it back up like you would when your top of your foot is lifted up.
Battle for 11th position here. And you know who those contenders are. There's Ernie Irvan down at the bottom of the racetrack, and Rusty Wallace right there in the Miller Genuine Draft number 2 on the outside. And the Kodak car for the moment has the advantage. And closing up on them is the number 22. That's Bobby Labonte, who's come to 13th spot. Meanwhile, take a look at this battle. That's Schrader, and he is getting all he can handle from Jeff Bodine in number 15. Bodine on a roll of recent. Remember that he won the last race on the road course at Sears Point, California, out there at Sonoma.
Ken, what's unique about this? Watch this right here. Watch the 15 car. He's been trying him high, trying high. Take a look at the inside, but watch when he goes in the third turn. He's been taking a real high line. Schrader's been diving to the bottom. Bodine runs up real high, tries to drive around the outside, running a completely different line. He's almost got a nose up there where Schrader's got to give him that room. He's trying the outside line early.
20 laps complete as they come by. 380 remaining, and it's a contest up in front for the first. And remember those words of Waltrip about pace. Now we're being told that the Brett Bodine, the Quaker State car number 26, they're holding the score. They may try to get that car back out here and into action and pick up some points.
Again, these points are so critical. If they cut it in half, they'll try to weld both pieces back together and just ride the rest of the day. They've got to get these cars back in the race if they can.
Currently Bodine 15th in the Winston Cup standings. Schrader fending off Jeff Bodine, the elder brother, and Rick Mast stays right there in third. Mast is having his best race of the season in the early going here in the Coca-Cola 600. Deployed just behind Rick Mast is Mark Martin in fourth. Morgan Shepherd is in fifth. You see him there for a moment off turn 2. And behind Marlin is Dale Earnhardt. That's Marlin in 6th, Earnhardt in 7th, Lake Speed in 8th, Rick Wilson 9th, Michael Waltrip is 10th, Ernie Irvan 11th, Rusty Wallace 12th, Bobby Labonte 13th, the rookie Jeff Gordon 14th, Greg Saxon 15th, and Bill Elliott shows 16th.
Well, it looks like the pace is kind of leveled out right, Ken. Let's go down to the garage area with Johnny Hayes to see what's going on behind the scenes.
Neil, you can see that this is the first car in tonight. You can also see that they're working very hard to try to get it back in, but it looks like they just closed the hood down. Everybody looked away, so I'd say Brett Bodine is out for the race. I think this is the first of many because I expect us to have a lot of equipment failure today.
Story down in the garage area that after they had held the score, figuring they might get Brett Bodine back in, it's all officially over on that car number 26.
Ken, what they can look at a lot of times, that thing might break a piece in the engine. As long as you use the same engine block and those components, you can rebuild that motor in the garage if you use the same engine block. This long a race, I'm sure they were looking if there was anything salvageable, put it back together, but it must have been too bad to even rebuild down there.
Well, you're watching Schrader continuing to have a grand time. Yesterday was his birthday. Today he's trying to give himself a present. 38-year-old Schrader leading out here for Rick Hendrick. Rick Hendrick Racing has won 33 Winston Cup racing. They've had 1, 2, 3, 4 car teams. This year it's a trio of cars, and for the moment it's Schrader continuing to dominate as they'll come around to complete 25 laps this time.
One of the other drivers, gentlemen, we expect to see up in that battle soon is this gentleman, the defending champion of the Coca-Cola 600. Dale Earnhardt started 14th. He's telling his crew he's really chasing the setup on the car early on. The car's tight in the middle of the corners, loose coming off, but Earnhardt isn't letting that bother him. He's advanced 7 spots here in the early going.
I tell you what, we talked about that, Ken, down. A lot of the guys were talking. They said this thing is going to be the kind of race, somebody that doesn't mind driving one that pushes, doesn't mind one that drives a little bit loose. He's going to, even though he's having a little bit of problem, he's going to hustle that race car and stay after it. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect for him to still go fast.
That's Lake Speed at number 83 right behind Earnhardt, and he is having a great race. There's the 83. He started 15th, and he's right there behind Earnhardt. And for Lake Speed, in a car they've run for many years, it's had several different lives. You know, actually, it's been a Chevy. I think it was a Pontiac at one time. Now it's a Ford, but it's basically that old grand old car. And the Purex number 83 steams right along in the 8th position for Lake Speed. Behind him, Ernie Irvan is in 9th, back with the leaders. And look at that interval as Schrader continues to gobble up the competition in the early going. 26 laps have now been completed. Schrader first, Jeff Bodine second, Mast is third, Shepard, Martin, Marlin, Earnhardt, Lake Speed, Irvin, and Michael Waltrip round out the top 10. First caution comes out at lap 28. We are in lap 30. Wally Dallenbach spewed oil as he broke an engine up in turn 4, and there you see the Keystone car coming out of the race. Let's take a look at what happened to the action after that engine unhinged up here in turn 4.
If you look at the screen, that's the second place car. The red car is Bodine. There's the 1 car running third, hits the wall. 21 car running fourth. He got into the oil. Morgan Shepard, the 21, was able to get back off the wall. Didn't do a lot of damage to his car, but the 1 is going to be in for some serious repairs. He tore the whole right side off the car.
So they've been 2 laps before they opened pit road, which has just taken place. Here you see Michael Waltrip's number 30 being administered to. Everyone is on pit road. There's, about 3 or 4 cars left out there at the present time. Here's Kyle Petty's car getting some quick work, and he's back underway for the Mellow Yellow team. Kyle Petty coming back on the track, and everybody making a mass exit off pit road.
There's Rusty Wallace coming out. His team's been one of the quickest on pit road. Got real good service to head it out.
Jimmy Means' car.
The hood on Jimmy Means' car doing some work there. They might have been working with the springs.
Well, he's back underway. Jimmy Means, and you see the Waltrip car coming out. Waltrip in no hurry to go up here and mix it up. He wants to stay with him till about halfway, and we'll see if he can win his 6th race. We're with Bobby Hillen right now as he brings it down below the stripe and out onto the track in the back straightaway. Under caution for the first time today, Rick Mast, number 1, badly bruised on the right side.
Probably looked like a lot of damage on that right front. He probably bent the A-frames on the right side, and he'll be out for a while. We can see our pit guys. There's Dick Berggren down there.
Let's go to him.
Rick Mast is climbing out of the car now. Rick, what put you in the wall up there?
I think a 16 car blew up or something. I was lapping a car on the outside going into 3. Just got in the oil. I didn't know the oil was there. Just hit the wall.
He's a mighty discouraged young man. They haven't worked on the car at all. He's taken his gloves off, thrown them on the floor of the car. He qualified 4th, thought it was going to be his big day today. Not so.
Whoops.
That's got to be a tire from one of those earlier pit stops. Somebody changed tires and didn't get the lug nuts back on.
Well, it's still trying to finish a lap out here. I'm not sure to whom it belongs. He just rolled out of turn number 4.
It's the 55 car of Ted Musgrave. He's sitting in the pits. They didn't get the left rear wheel back on before he left the pits. It made it all the way around to turn 3.
Tried to chase him all the way back down onto pit road, but didn't quite make it. Let's go to Johnny Hayes with Wally Dallenbach.
Wally, what happened out there?
Looks like we threw a run. I can't believe it. 600-mile race and we don't go 20 laps with motor problems. It's real disappointing. It hurt, it's really going to hurt us in points and everything else. I really was looking forward to a long run tonight.
Well, we hate it happen for you. Better luck next time.
I hope so. Thanks.
A tough break for Wally Dallenbach, who has been trying so hard to put it back together of recent. Thought he had it working. Not today. He's been getting up towards that 21st position in points, falling back to 24th, really having his difficulties with that Keystone T-burn.
See him reading this tire right here. He's reading the tire temperature. It read 195 degrees across the total surface. They'll do this every time they come in, and then they'll read the tire. If the front's a little hotter, then those cars pushy. If the rear's hot, it's loose. So they work these tires over. Those tires probably won't be used again today, but they check the air pressure and what they look like when they came off so they can gauge what to do on the next set.
So for the moment, we're under caution. We've now completed 32 laps. First caution of the day after a blown engine put 2 cars in the wall at turn 4. Coming around to complete 34 laps and ready to go green. Mark Martin is the lead car. Ken Schrader is second. Jeff Bodine third. Morgan Shepard fourth. Earnhardt to fifth. Ernie Irvin sixth. Michael Waltrip seventh. Jeff Gordon eighth. Marlin ninth. Greg Sachs 10th. Lake Speed 11th. Rusty Wallace 12th. Bill Elliott 13th. Rick Wilson 14th. And Kyle is 15th, with Jimmy Spencer and Davey Allison back in 16 and 17 as they take green another time. Lap car up in front, the tail end of that lead lap falling back as they get underway. Mark Martin sprints down the back straightaway to a 15-car length advance.
While we're watching Mark make the sprint, Dick Berggren's down in his pit with some information on what the Martin crew is doing.
Field. They were running very loose before that caution flag. When they came in, they put more wedge in the car. They also changed the spoiler in the back end. It was such a fast pit stop. Believe it or not, Mark knocked his crew chief, Steve Meal, over right here on pit road. Steve picked himself up. He's okay. That car had been loose. It should be better, faster now.
Dick, maybe that's the reason he's running so fast. When you run over your crew chief, you better get to running, or you are in the doghouse.
Here's Mark Martin, whose best finish in the 600 was back in 1990, the year that Rusty Wallace won it, and Bill Elliott came home second. For the moment, Mark Martin is in the first position in this race and trying to better that third position from 1990. Earnhardt continues to roll steadily. He's back in fifth position, trying to gain some ground. Heavy traffic out there, and he gets around the 75, sprints down the back straightaway.
Comes the 4 car, Bernie Irvin, the yellow number 4, Bernie Irvin, closing in on Earnhardt now.
Definitely on the move is Earnhardt. He continues to clamber up through the standings. Morgan Shepherd now in front of him.
Morgan is lucky to still be running. We saw him get into that oil, bounce off the wall. The Wood brothers got him a good stop, got him in and out, still up front.
I should mention that's Dick Trickle right there in that 75 car, which he was scooting under. Mark Martin is blasting away from the field. There's Morgan Shepherd in the 21, maintaining the 4th position. You see Jeff Bodine just in front of him. Morgan had that wild ride up in turn number 4, got in the oil and skittered that car all the way up to the wall and saved it.
I couldn't help but think a while ago whenever they said Mark might have a loose condition. He looked very loose to me coming off the corners, and he was even able to run up front with that loose condition. Now they corrected his race car. He's going to be hard to handle.
There you see Martin out in front. We asked Dale Earnhardt about how tough Mark Martin was going to be at Charlotte today.
I think Mark's a good, consistent, hard runner. You know, he's really showed himself in the last several years, couple of 3 years, and he's going to be tough for the 600.
Well, there you see him with this healthy lead over Jeff Bodine in second, and then Ken Schrader is in third. See Morgan Shepherd back there in fourth as they've been duking it out over the last couple of laps. Earnhardt trying to close up on that pair, and with Earnhardt comes Ernie Irvin back in sixth. And then there's an interval of almost a full second to Jeff Gordon maintaining 7th position. 40 laps complete as they come by this time. 40.
There's Irvin. We saw him gaining on Earnhardt. He's up under the 3 car now. Looks like he might make the pass going in turn 1. There's Earnhardt right back behind him.
Stays right with him. Out of turn 2, Irvin trying to get the advantage as those 2 Chevys. They get down that back straightaway at over 185, 90 miles per hour, then ease back on the throttle to get it into 3.
Ease back, but not very much. This racetrack's got enough banking with these radial tires. You just roll out of the throttle, then back on it wide open. These cars are really hustling through the corners.
Battle for third continues to be a strong one out here today. The 21 and the 25 continue their own war, and Morgan Shepherd for the moment is back to third. Schrader in fourth.
And while this is going on, Terry Labonte has just turned down pit road. He's got a problem. He's sitting in the pits.
Kellogg's car, number 14, in trouble. Let's go down and see if we can get the story.
Well, the Terry Labonte machine is pulled in. You can hear that rattle almost like it's on 7 cylinders, but I believe it's running on 8. Terry came over the radio, said the car temperature is going up. The engine's overheating. They're taking a look under the hood right now. Nothing. They want to add some water, but they're afraid to pull the radiator cap at this point in time. This is a costly error for this team. They're going to pull some tape away from the front grille, obviously trying to get as much air into the radiator as you can. But this team doesn't look like they know quite what to do with this automobile right now. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it.
Randy, we could see a big puff of steam come out of the right rear of the car when we had the shot from the other side. Right, that area right there, that's where the overflow for the radiator is. They put it back there so when the car runs hot, it won't spew water on its own tires, and that's the overflow area, and it's definitely running hot.
Continuing to work on Terry Labonte's number 14, and take a look at this. Here comes Ernie Irvin, not wasting any time, going after Schrader for fourth. Ernie Irvin there for fourth position. Schrader back after him for a moment. Irvin qualified 19th for this race. Back up in front, Jeff Bodine underneath Mark Martin for the lead.
Jeff Bodine had got around there and was just picking away at him, picking away. All of a sudden, he made a big run at him and went right on by him.
Jeff Bodine stays first. Now Martin second. Morgan Shepherd is third. And Ernie Irvin trying to close a gap of about 20 car lengths to go after the Wood brothers. Number 21 with Morgan at the controls. Here's your leader. Bodine, who won the last time out on the road course, has purchased the Alan Kawicki team and will sit down in that chair next year as Jimmy Hensley out here today, coming down before this crowd of over 162,000 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. You see the field rambling down through, and here you see the 24 of Gordon back in 7th place. That DuPont car for Rick Hendrick, trying to close on Earnhardt in 6th.
He was way back in the pack earlier. He's closed up, made a lot of difference right here. He lost a real good race car in the Winston Open about a week ago. He had the quickest car in Charlotte Motor Speedway and lost it. This is a backup car, and they've done a lot of work on it, and he's getting it up to speed now.
The 21-year-old attacking man, and take a look at this. Here's Jimmy Spencer down to the inside. Jimmy Spencer getting just a small piece of that car, number 68, Greg Sachs, as he tried to move through on the country time car.
Yeah, they got together coming off turn 4. Spencer got into him. There
6 car backing up a little here.
Ken, it might be something they might have overcompensated. He was loose earlier. They might have tightened him up too much, or maybe haven't gotten rid of that loose condition. We'll get some of our guys to go down to the pit and check on it again after a while.
So, Jeff Bodine in first, Martin in second, Morgan Shepherd in third, and then Ernie Irvin. Let's take a look at 68. Have a little fun out here a moment ago. There you see Jimmy Spencer in the Bobby Allison Meineke car.
Comes Spencer up behind him. Kind of blowing the horn there a little bit. Tap, tap. Boy, it gets out of shape. Does a good job straight up. Spencer heads to the inside.
Greg Sachs making a nice recovery. Now we're back with the leaders another time. And here's Morgan Shepherd going for first. It's Shepherd in the Wood Brothers car into the lead at lap 48. Second place to Bodine. Irvin third. Martin fourth. Schrader fifth. Earnhardt sixth is the way they're deployed.
That's new position. No new position for the Wood Brothers leading Charlotte. They've done that a lot. Here was Bobby Hillen inside his car.
22nd position, Hillen. Closing up on Bobby Labonte. Getting you a little further back in the field. This is a battle for position. Bobby Hillen closing up on the Maxwell House car. You see Bobby Labonte just in front of them. Dropping down Sachs. Bobby Labonte, one of those outstanding rookies that has come up from the Grand National ranks. He pulls to the outside on Sachs, and you get this view as Bobby Labonte scoots around the outside and takes a spot away from Greg Sachs. That'll put Labonte up into the 19th position. There's Sachs coming right back after him. Good battle. Down into turn 3. Here's the track gets a little rough. Back to the main straightaway and still side by side.
This is the case right here where Hillens won't want him to go. He's going to follow the guy that makes the big move. He decides to follow. Here we are looking at Hillen in the seat. See him driving the car. He's going down the back straightaway now.
Hillen been in a flap a couple of times. Of course, that incident at Daytona with Kyle Petty when he lost the brakes on the car. Then he had an incident with Dale Earnhardt, but he's out here trucking today in the Junior Don Levy car, the Junie Don Levy car. Take a look at this. Here is Ernie Irvin in the number 4, closed right up on the 2 leaders, Morgan Shepherd and Jeff Bodine.
You know, I questioned a while ago about Mark Martin. He's having trouble. We got a word from their pits. They say everything's just fine. He's going to ride it out. Dick, have you got anything else on the 6 car?
Well, that's basically what we've heard, Neil, about it, that he's just going to wait until the sun goes down. Believe it or not, here in the pits, they've already got the lights on, but the sun's a long ways from going down.
52 laps have been completed. Only one caution thus far when Wally Dallenbach blew an engine. Here you see the 15, Bodine back to the inside. Ernie Irvin coming with him for second. Trying for third is Mark Martin as Morgan Shepherd fades out of turn 2.
Boy, Morgan, the 15 car got under the 21. Slid up just a little bit in both of the cars. Him and the 4 went by him. Looks like Ernie Irvin's after a mission now to get the 15. He seemed very strong.
Earnhardt is well on the inside. Shepherd willing to give some ground for a moment. That's Earnhardt in 6th, Checkered in 5th in the 21. And just behind them comes Jeff Gordon. Now that's a pretty wide line. I would say the handle's gone on the 21 car as we see Earnhardt pick up another spot.
Either that, Ken, or they just got to thinking about backing the pace down a little bit.
For the lead, Bodine on the outside, Ernie Irvin on the inside. Here they come for 4.
Irvin's car really makes a big jump in the middle of the corner. His car's got a lot of acceleration. Here they go, tied down the corner where the 4-car runs is from the middle of the corner out. That's where his strong suit is.
Coming around to complete 55 laps this time. And there you see that battle for 3rd and 4th position. Here's Schrader back up again, and Earnhardt coming to 4th. As the leaders continue side by side, it's Schrader again into 3rd. Here comes Earnhardt in this row. We're talking about pace. You wouldn't think there was any here. You'd think we had 5 laps to go to the finish of this thing as Bodine, Irvin, Schrader, Earnhardt, Martin, and Jeff Gordon on the tail end of this fracas continue to battle for the lead.
Ken, there's a pace, but most of these guys you're dealing with in this front pack have got one pace, and that's wide open. And several of these guys are going to run this race like a 600-mile sprint. The 4-car, a bunch of those guys up front, they're going to run it wide open.
Remember that Jeff Gordon is 6th. Morgan Shepherd has fallen back to 7th. Lake Speed is 8th. Marlin is 9th. And Bill Elliott has come to 10th. 56 laps are complete. And for the moment, Jeff Bodine is in control of the Coca-Cola 600 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Great to have you with us this afternoon on TBS for the Coca-Cola 600 as we watch Jeff Bodine and Ernie Irvin continue to battle for the lead. Everyone wants to know how Rusty Wallace is doing here in the early going. Well, Rusty's had his problems. The number 2 car's been overheating just a little bit, and they're worried about the handling of the car. They're talking about changing air pressure when they make their first pit stop in their tires. They can affect the stagger in the car a little bit in these radial tires by changing air pressure. Also, they want to remove some of the rubber snubbers, some of the donuts that go inside those coil springs, try to tighten the car up a little bit more for Rusty Wallace. So we'll see how the 2 car does after they make that first stop coming up.
18th position for Wallace, and look at this scramble up in front. Ernie Irvin forges back to the inside, slugs it out down there with Jeff Bodine as they battle for the lead. They close up on the lap car of Mike Wallace, go to the outside. Attrition thus far in the event shows a couple of retirees. Early 16 officially is out, the Dallenbach car, and look at this battle. Here's the 25 and the 6. Schrader in the 25, Martin in the 6. This is for 4th position. They're 63 laps deep. At 67, they'll have covered the first 100 miles. Neil Bonnet?
I tell you, they're running hard. We just saw a little bit earlier. We saw Irvin trying to make him a little room with Jeff Bodine as they went down the first turn. This pack here has really been battling away at it. Jeff Gordon's moving right on up through there.
And take a look at Lake Speed in the 83. He's in 7th spot and having a fine race at the present time. He is around Schrader. Give him 6th position. Put Schrader in 7th. Leave Morgan Shepherd back in 8th. And you see Lake Speed having an outstanding run as we get down toward the end of the first 100 miles. Meanwhile, for the lead, back and forth between Bodine and Irvin. Earnhardt sitting back just a couple of car lengths, watching these 2 leaders as they're averaging over 160 miles per hour per lap, and the average speed for the race has climbed to 146.567. The record for 600 miles, it's an Ulster. Richard Petty set it in 1975 at 145.327. 75. That was before Neil Bonnet was in this race.
Yeah, it's been quite a while since I've been in since then, too.
Are you really going to come back? You really going to come back and try some races?
Oh, I'd like to play around a little bit. I've been watching too much lately. We've got Johnny Hayes down in the pits with something for us. Let's go down to him.
You better bet this is important, Neil. This is Johnny AccuWeatherman. Right here on the NASCAR trailer, your official AccuWeather forecast. Charlotte is clear, muggy, and hot. But if you will look at all these green dots, these are showers that could be coming our way. Western North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. And before nightfall, we could have some of this stuff. So we'll keep you posted.
All I want to know are the fish biting is the main thing. tomorrow.
That Hayes, he'll do anything for money. You know, be the weatherman, whatever it takes.
He always has.
Jeff Bodine in first, Ernie Irvin in second. Now take a look at this. Here's Earnhardt and Mark Martin trying to chase him down. And look at the job Lake Speed is doing. The pride of Mississippi is right there. Kyle Petty making an unscheduled stop on number 42. He's running in 19th position.
It's a little bit early, just a little bit early to be coming in, but they were off the pace. They thought this might help them. Talk about own the pace. Look at Mark Martin making the run to the inside of Earnhardt.
Got him for third.
Comes Earnhardt back on the outside. Looks like the Winston the other night, same set of circumstances. Comes Earnhardt back on the outside.
Yeah, but there's a long way to go to the finish on this one.
Oh, yeah. You just keep practicing. Practice away at it. You might need it at the end.
Meanwhile, Kyle Petty comes back on the track, putting a lap on Kenny Wallace there in the Dirt Devil car as they come down the main straightaway. And around Jimmy Means comes Earnhardt in the 3. Here's Earnhardt back to third, Speed to fourth, Martin falls to fifth. Jeff Gordon driving a very stable 6th position.
We're going to get Dick Berggren to go down and find out why Kyle Petty came in a little bit early. We'll be back with that shortly.
And now there are 69 laps complete, which gets the first 100 miles into the book. At lap 67, they've gone 100.5. So at that point, the story was Bodine and Irvin up in front. You've got about 6 cars dicing back and forth among those front 6 positions, with Schrader on the tail end of that group. Then Morgan Shepherd coming across. A little further back, Sterling Marlin in the 8 car, having an excellent afternoon for the Stavola brothers. Here is the 3. That's Earnhardt. He is staying third for the moment. I think he is willing to show some patience out here.
He's been complaining a little bit about the handling on the car. Let's watch inside the window right here and see how he's working his wheel. You see the white area right there? He's cranking that thing around. It's not doing just exactly like he wants to. The back end's jumping out from under him right in the middle of the corner. He's working pretty hard with that car to keep it up front.
There you see the Lake Speed car right behind number 3, Earnhardt. Then Mark Martin in the 6. He's running in 5th. Back up front.
It's not a replay again. It's the same thing we see time and time again. The 4 car might have him this time. He's cleared him, but here comes Bodine right back on the outside. Looks like instant replay. They've been doing this for 15 or 20 laps.
And look at the tire marks already on Bodine's car now.
When you're on the inside, you can lean a little bit on that outside guy. He's been doing it. That just shoots on the side off Bodine's car, but he cleared him this time.
72 laps are now complete. Irvin stays first, Bodine second. Earnhardt for the moment holding on to third as they swap it back and forth in the early going. 13 lead changes among 5 drivers in the race. Most lead changes, 54 back in 1979.
Dick Berggren's got it with the Kyle Petty crew to find out why that pit stop came early, Walter. What is it, Dick?
Well, I don't know. Why did you pit so early?
He picked up a vibration the last 3 or 4 laps, and the left rear wheel was loose.
Well, they said in the pit meeting today that if anybody picked up a vibration, get right in and fix it, because they never clear themselves out. That's why Kyle Petty pitted.
Battle for third. Take a look at this one. Here's Earnhardt and Martin in another scramble. The story on Kyle Petty, and Lake Speed stays right in the thick of it.
In the thick of it, he's trying to drive around the outside of Mark Martin. Lake Speed's car is really working good today.
Here comes Jeff Gordon down on the inside. It's Martin on the inside in the 6. Earnhardt on the outside in 21-year-old Pittsboro, Indiana native. Jeff Gordon flies on the inside. He's going to try to get a spot away from Speed right here. This is for 5th. Lake Speed trying to fend him off. Both very aggressive drivers. Morgan Shepherd getting back into it. Schrader getting back to this battle. There you see Schrader in the 25. And again, here's the youngster down to the inside, working on Lake Speed.
Schrader's a teammate of the 24. The 24 and the 25 are team cars. I wouldn't doubt to see these 2 guys get together, try to get back around Lake Speed. Just a little bit of push, a high-speed push right here. 24 moved to the outside.
He's 21 years old, that kid at 24. 21, and he's won over 600 races.
Yeah, but he's 21 going on 30. He's got a lot of years experience with him. Got a good level head. He's going to be a good racer.
Here comes Schrader in the 25 down to the bottom, working on Lake Speed just for 6. Meanwhile, Earnhardt in third. Bodine is in second. And here comes that Mark Martin chewing away, nibbling on the back end of number 3.
Yeah, they touched just a little bit up off that corner. You just can't help it. You're running this fast. You're trying to work around some guy. You're going to get into him every now and then. Mark just barely tapped the 3. Both of them just kept going. Mark's car seems to be better in the middle of the corner. Earnhardt always seemed to have a lot of drive going down in the corner. Everyone else seems to work up off. Dale really runs the car hard in the corner.
The 86 and 92 champion still trying to stave off this challenge for Mark Martin. Is this smart driving early in the going?
I always thought it was smart because that was a crazy way I did it. I always ran them wide open start to end. You're talking about a pace a while ago. I always felt the best pace was wide open. If it finishes, you got a shot to win. But don't listen to me. I'm the guy that could have and should have and didn't a couple of times. 1-2 and lost 10. We see Mark Martin. He's not giving up on Earnhardt. He keeps plugging away at him. He's trying repeatedly to get around. He just hasn't been able to get completely around him.
Yeah, he looks down to the inside, but you don't want to go down to here at turn 3 on Earnhardt. He will close the door. Now out of 4, he gets a little bit of room. Can't do it. He's got too much speed going in there, and he can't pinch that car down.
Well, Mark tried it. He turned the car down. The back end jumped out from under him. He corrected it. These good drivers will actually temporarily lose the car, and you can't hardly see it. He cut the wheel down under the 3. The back wheels broke loose. He cranked the car to the right and caught it. But, you know, these guys are quick enough. They can catch that thing before it gets all the way out from under him.
Well, if they run at this pace as they come up on Chad Little in the Orkin car, if they continue at this pace, they'll be into the record book with a new speed for the 600-mile distance. From Chad Little's car, you'll look back as they close down this back straightaway.
That's Jeff Gordon coming up on him. Gordon, who's running 5th, is going around Chad Little on the outside. That's what's good about this racetrack. Even though that inside lane is a preferred lane, there's plenty of racetrack out there to get on the outside and pass some of these guys.
Jeff Gordon in 5th spot and drawing away. Chad Little's car off to a fairly good start, and it's carrying Harry Mellon's colors again today. He's holding 30th for the Orkin folks, and he is now shown as a lap down to that front 5. See Horton just in front of him in the 32. There's a guy you're going to hear some more about in years to come. He is a good racer. Certainly proven himself back up in the Northeast. Meanwhile, back with the leaders at lap number 80. Here's Ernie Irvin for the lead. About to put a lap on Terry Labonte.
Again, he's still the leaders. It is the leader. He's got a 2-second lead. Once he got around those guys, he is beginning to check out him. He's got about 2 seconds on the field right now.
Yeah, fading back into 2nd spot is Jeff Bodine. Here is Irvin putting a lap on Labonte, and then take a look at that interval back to 2nd place. There you see Earnhardt coming along and bringing right with him Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, Morgan Shepherd, and Ken Schrader. It's Bodine for 2nd, Earnhardt in 3rd here at the Coca-Cola 600. Bobby Hillens, number 90. He's continuing to fly back in 20th position, lead lap. From the Helig Myers car as you watch Bobby Hillen, and we've got a car out of control. Rick Wilson is spinning in the grass, and caution is coming out.
He's got to be careful here, not get back out in the lane of traffic as he comes out.
Rick Wilson fires it up and brings 44 across the line. They've been running in the 16th position when something went amiss out of turn number 4. And the STP Pontiac came sliding down to the infield for about 800 to 1,000 feet and brought out the 2nd caution of the day. This at lap number 89. Which would get us 133 miles into the event. They've been averaging 150 miles per hour. That's been the average as we come to the 2nd caution, well over the record of Richard Petty at 145. This will hold it down.
He started in 9th place and had a good start but had trouble. Let's see if we can find out what happened here. This is looking up toward turn 4. Looks like the car right behind him. It looked like him and Darrell Waltrip got together. The 44 and the 17 got together up in the middle of the corner. Here goes Rick Wilson down across the grass. The bad thing that happens, he's coming down through there, and then when he turns around, it almost wants to whip back out on the racetrack. Slid all the way across that big asphalt section there where they run the Legends race. Heads back out toward the racetrack. Whoa, get it stopped before it gets out there.
Rick Wilson, whose best finish in the 600 has been an 18th on a couple of occasions, trying to better that mark today and having trouble here in lap number 88. Now the field is coming around and they will complete lap number 89 at this point, and onto pit road moves Irvin, Earnhardt, Gordon, Checkered, Schrader is in, Marlin. Let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Well, this was a blessing, guys, for these guys. Mark Martin had radioed early that he was coming on lap 90. One car ran out of gas on the front stretch while the caution came out. Dale Earnhardt is in. Andy Petrie and the veteran crew chief going to work. Right side already done. Left side tires on. This is a tremendously fast pit stop. Of course, 4 tires for him. Ernie Irvin down and away, beats him out. Dale Earnhardt, good shot for Dale Earnhardt for a 21-3 second pit stop. Jeff Gordon away as well.
Okay, who had a good one? The 6 cars, the first guy out. They even beat the 4 cars, so they had a nice stop.
Well, you saw the Bojangles car of Cale Yarborough coming out, Derek Cope and Harry Gant. Here's Rick Wilson coming back into it. Martin did come out quickest. Irvin came out second. And you couldn't have picked a better time. We figured they were going to be in around, what, lap 95, 96. And here we are coming around to complete lap 91 as Rick Wilson spins to bring out the caution. And that will really keep the field together with 26 cars continuing in the lead lap.
I guarantee you they were concerned because the 20 car, as Randy said, the 20 car ran out coming down the front straightaway, was wiggling back and forth, and that's usually the gauge. Somebody runs out, the rest of them are coming in.
Here's Dick Berkram.
Boy, here's a good call for a good crew. Let's give a round of applause to Lake Speed's bunch. They came out in 4th spot. They just did a terrific pit stop down here at the long end of the pits. They beat absolutely everybody out when it got all done. They gave each other high fives and they were yelling. That's what the practice was about. That's why we practice, guys.
A lot more practice these days to make these pit stops better by all these teams based around Charlotte.
I tell you what, every one of these teams has started reevaluating what the pit crew's doing. They're all good at what they do. Now they started these exercise regimes just to get really physical capable, jumping around that car and getting back in a hurry.
Well, you see the number 1 car there. It's back on the track some 57 laps down. And he is back. Rick Mast, who had trouble earlier. Let's find out more about what happened with Rick Mast and go to Johnny Hayes.
Ken, Rick Mast, very disappointed. They worked real hard, got the car put back together. But he said the sad thing was that he's having such a great run and the thing drove just like a Cadillac. He said he never had a better race car, and that made it twice as tough for him.
Qualified 4th for this race, and as you folks that were watching earlier will recall, this is the car that sprinted up into the wall when he got into some oil thrown down by a blown engine from Wally Dollenbach. He had nothing he could do. He really fought to save it. He was running a high line, and it was just a matter of an instant of a second, and he crashed the right side of the car into the wall in turn 4. They've done a lot of repair work and got him back out, so he's running for points right now. They're doing a little cleaning down here on pit road for the moment on Rusty Wallace's pit area.
That's Lynn Wood. The Wood brothers, he's checking the tire temperature just like we talked about before, so they can decide what to do to that car.
He's got a broken arm, Leonard Wood.
That was
they
Lynn
changed
right
tires in 17 seconds. Well, he and Eddie were going home the other night, and they proved they were just like the rest of us. They had a tire go down on their Explorer. So Leonard got out the manual, and Eddie changed the tire in slightly over 15 minutes, they said.
I had them do a lot better stops for me when I drove for them. They get them out in a hurry, I tell you.
Take a look at the 162,000 plus who are here today. Another record crowd at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, sell out for the 5th year in a row, enjoying the Coca-Cola 600. We hope you're enjoying it today. With Neil Bonnet, I'm Ken Squire, top side of the action. We're just completing the 2nd period under caution, getting ready to turn them loose with Mark Martin in 1st, Ernie Irvin in 2nd, Dale Earnhardt 3rd, Lake Speed 4th, Ken Schrader 5th, Jeff Bodine in 6th, Jeff Gordon 7th, Dale Jarrett is in 8th, Morgan Shepherd 9th, Bill Elliott 10th, Waltrip to 11th, that's Darrell Waltrip, Davey Allison is 12th, Sterling Marlin 13th, Jimmy Spencer 14th, Rusty Wallace 15th, Ricky Rudd 16th, and Michael Waltrip in the 17th position. And all 27 cars after this caution period are shown back in that lead lap.
And that's Kyle Petty in the black and green 42. He's wanting to get, he's a lap down. He's wanting that lap back. Here's an opportunity for him. He's able to get out in front of the 6 cars. They should have a caution to give him a chance to get that lap back.
Remember, he's a former winner here back in 1987, and he's got that lap back for the Felix Sabetta's team. And look at Ernie Irvin closing in a hurry, hustling to move in on Mark Martin.
how long Kyle can hold these guys off. They seem to be a little bit quicker as they went running longer laps a while ago, longer times. So just have to see if he can hold them off.
With the Orkin car from Chad Little, we close in on Mike Wallace's car. Some of the action out back.
Yeah, they're way back in the back right here. They got a lot of cars in front. Hope they're not having any kind of troubles.
You can see at this kind of speed, if anything happens up in front of you, hello, you're in it before you have time to get out of it. Trying to pick up a spot right here. Chad Little as he comes down the main straightaway. And makes it. And Jimmy Hensley comes right with him. And take a look up in front. Here's Mark Martin. There is Kyle Petty. Falls back. And a lap down. It's Martin, Irvin, and Earnhardt scoot underneath him.
Yeah, Kyle held him off as long as he could. He's hoping for an early caution. See Earnhardt driving to the outside, trying to get outside the 4. The 4's going to go under the 6. Keep this up, it'll be 3 abreast through this trial.
Here's Earnhardt on the outside, alongside Ernie Irvin. A little bit of a break there for Mark Martin in that Valvoline Thunderbird. In his 10th start in the 600. A lot of people predicting this will be Batesville, Arkansas, Mark Martin's day. Best finish to date, 3rd in 1990 here at the 600. His best finish this year was that nice 2nd place finish he scored at Darlington.
Was able to make that pass stick on the outside. They'll have to try probably the same maneuver on 6 car.
Rick Mast in and out again. There's Rick Mast back on the track. Drops another lap down. Look at this battle for the lead. Earnhardt trying to intimidate Mark Martin. And here comes the, and he gets nudged. Ernie Irvin went up on the outside. Swapping some sheet metal out here. What a contest for the lead.
How about 3 abreast off turn 4?
Right through the roughest part of the track they go, inside and outside of Martin. It's Earnhardt in front. Irvin in the 2nd place, and Lake Speed on a roll down on the inside for 3rd. Look at this run by Speed.
It's the first lap. 3 cars led. He needed those points for leading the lap. He's been at it all day. It's the first time he's led. The 4 car really worked good on the bottom. They put it 3 abreast.
Ken Schrader, the pole sitter, is back in 6th. In front of them, Earnhardt now. Irvin, Speed, Martin, and Bodine. Take another look at this pass at the roughest part of the track, turn 4.
Earnhardt's going to make a drive to the outside of the 6 car. They're real high, so here comes the 4 inside. Mark says, hey, this is the wrong place to be, 3 abreast. He rolls out a little bit. Earnhardt's got that momentum and takes the lead off the corner.
And down to the inside, Lake Speed. He keeps it going. Finds himself 3rd place out there. Nestled solidly into that position, but it may only be a moment before that changes. Actually, he's built up about a 3-car length advantage over Martin. I think Martin was willing to step out of it for a moment and let those guys go play. It's Chevrolet 1st and 2nd, Ford 3rd, 4th, 5th, and the Chevrolet of Ken Schrader rounds out the top 6. First Pontiac is Rusty Wallace back in 13th.
Ken, we've been talking about it from start to end about this race is going to go from daylight to darkness. You can already see the reflection of the lights. The lights are on in Charlotte. See them flickering on the side of this black car. The inside lights are on, the top lights are on. We're going to ease into darkness. You won't even be able to tell it. This track is lit so well.
This is your first opportunity to see them run a super speedway under the lights. Stay with us. It ought to be a dandy battle, and it's going to change the entire way these crew chiefs are thinking about this race as the temperature dips down.
You know, we don't have to see total darkness. As we drop down later in the day, this track is going to change, get faster and faster and faster. So some of the guys that were off early, it might come to them, and some of the guys who are up front later, they could go the rear.
Richard Childress looking on as his driver, Dale Earnhardt, sprints out to a 5-car length advantage. Irvin 2nd, Speed 3rd. There are now 102 laps complete. That gets us 153 miles deep into the Coca-Cola 600 for 1993. Stay with us on this Sunday afternoon Memorial Day weekend for Winston Cup Stock Car Racing. Thank you very much, Rick Benjamin. 108 laps are now complete. 162 miles are down here today at the Coca-Cola 600 with Dale Earnhardt for the moment sustaining a lead of 3-car lengths over Ernie Irvin, with Lake Speed maintaining 3rd, Mark Martin in 4th, Schrader in 5th, Jeff Bodine in 6th. Neil Bonnet Pretty interesting race thus far. A lot of lead changes, 15 among 6 drivers.
Yeah, you know, just before this caution came out, the 4 car had put almost a complete straightaway on everybody. And then this time, looked like Earnhardt was out front a little bit. But the 4, I'll tell you, don't count him out. He's been very strong from the start of this race. Earnhardt's going to have his hands full here in a few laps.
5-time Winston Cup champion stays in front, as you see right here, from our aerial shots of the Coca-Cola 600 being provided by Steel Outdoor Equipment. As good as you thought. Price less than you think.
I think they've helped the car a little bit. You know, they'll lead. We saw him earlier go through this corner, really wrestling the car around, jerking around on the steering wheel, fighting the thing through the corner, through the other set of stops. It looked like they've helped it some. Irvin's car didn't seem to be going away at all. It looks pretty good.
But you can see in turn 4 that time with the Irvin car where you get that bottoming out. It is really rough in turn 4. We talk about it. Neil, I think you should explain it a little as we watch them come back up on it next time around.
Again, what it is there's a tunnel that goes under that end of the racetrack, and this is a landfill area when it was originally built, and there's a little bit of setting. You watch them go down the back straightaway here. They go in, the cars get there pretty good, but right in the middle, once the cars start traveling, right through the middle there's a bump, right that section Irvin went over, and right off the corner here there's another area. Cars do a lot of traveling. Had some of the cars this week break the shock mounts, the welded areas that hold the shocks on the car. See Irvin going to the inside, so it's plenty tough off turn 4.
Taking a look at the Napa Field standings, back through the field, Greg Saxon 22nd, Jimmy Hensley 23rd, Musgrave 24th. That was after 100 to 400 laps. Meanwhile, the pressure up front, getting his arm twisted a little, is Dale Earnhardt, by none other than Ernie Irvin. He had some very strong comments to make after the Winston last week, in which for the 3rd time Earnhardt came home victorious. He psyched the field a little on a restart. Irvin didn't care too much for it.
Yeah, they would, you know, one of the restarts was called back, and they lined them up and redid it again. They started them side by side. Earnhardt ended up winning the race. Some people upset about it, but when you win, you're going to make some people mad.
Remember that late speed stays 3rd in car number 83. Outstanding performance for that driver. He certainly has been on his uppers over the last 2 or 3 years, but it's come together. He only has 1 win. He stays 3rd at the present time. Looks like he could be in for a good finish. Look at Irvin work lower than Earnhardt all the way around the track. A couple of master folks. Tony Glover, the chief mechanic on number 4, he can really set them up. And of course this year with Andy Petrie on car number 3, there are a couple of really strong people supporting those drivers.
Yeah, they keep the cars under these 2 drivers all the time. But if they're not right to start with, they get them better. Speaking of getting things better, we got Hayes down in the pits. Let's go down and see what he's got going while we got a big battle for the lead right here.
You're ready then, right?
Here's
okay,
Johnny
he's
Hayes.
ready.
Let's go to John right now.
Here we are down in the Goodyear Tire Center. I want you to understand how important this is. Every one of these teams had at least 7 sets of tires before this race started. After just 3 pit stops, look at Goodyear. They're busting tires everywhere. Everybody's running, jumping, trying to get these things ready so everyone will have fresh rubber.
That's the story down in the infield, just to the right of where the garage area is for the cars from Johnny Hayes.
One thing that's bringing that on is used to you could come to a track like this and mount 14 sets of tires. After the race is over, the ones you didn't use, they would take back. Now, when they mount them, they're yours. You pay for the tires if you use them or not. So these guys are just getting enough mounted, and then they mount them during the race.
Here's the 24 car. That is Jeff Gordon continuing his own scramble with Bill Elliott back in 8th spot. You also see in that group Sterling Lawley in the Rebestos car number 8. There he is on the outside trying to come around Jeff Gordon. Bill Elliott in that lead lap who started 30th now finds himself in 9th, working the outside, turning very consistent laps. You also see the plight of Kyle Petty a lap down and having more problems out here with the mellow yellow number 42.
I tell you, this is the best Bill Elliott run since they've been here. They've just been off the pace. They couldn't get the car up to speed. He's been thrashing away at it. They're back there in 9th place, but I'm telling you, that's a big gain what they've had all week. They've been working on getting it better all week long.
Dale Jarrett had just scooted under both of them. He is up to 8th in the interstate car for Joe Gibbs. And then you see Bill Elliott in 9th and Jeff Gordon. And there you see Dale Jarrett, green, black, and red car prepared by Jimmy Maycar. They could be a factor for sure before this one is over. Jarrett's had good success here in the Grand National race, having won it on a couple of occasions. Jimmy Means has just pitted and come back on the track in car number 52. He's back in the 37th position.
The 18 car we're looking at here, Jarreth, he won the Daytona 500. If he can win this, he wins a $100,000 bonus from Winston. If he can win 3 of the 4 big races, he wins $1 million.
Now the 4th is Darlington coming up on Labor Day, and you can say the same for Ernie Irvin, correct?
Irvin won at Talladega, so he's one of the guys that's eligible too. So the 18 and the 4 car are going for $100,000 extra today.
And a step toward $1 million if they can put it all together down there in Darlington, South Carolina on Labor Day. Memorial Day Lake Speed in the 83. Yeah, the number 83 is staying third. It's a great performance for this Mississippi driver, and here's Dick Berger.
And Ken, one of the big stories around the garage is that these guys rented or bought an engine from a big-time team. Here's the crew chief, Troy Selbert. Where did that engine come from?
Well, that engine comes out of our own engine shop. John Callis used to be with the 27 car when they won the championship back 89, I guess, 88, 89. John Callis does all our engines, and a lot of people really don't understand it. We've only been contracted with the Purex people for 10 races this year, and we've been able to put some good cars together to come to the racetrack, and let's just hope that they can stay up underneath us, and, you know, we'll be around at the end.
They need a good run today to get a sponsor for the rest of the races all year.
That has been the plight of Lake Speed time after time. But he comes out here and keeps on digging. Go for it, Lake Speed. Third place at the present time with Mark Martin in 4th, Kenny Schrader in 5th, Morgan Shepherd 6th, Bodine in 7th, Elliott 8th, Gordon 9th, Dale Jarrett in 10th. It's Earnhardt in command. When the race started at 4:30, that temperature reading, which is on the roof of the grandstand here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, read 98. So it's beginning to fall back, and we'll get the word from Neil Barnett about that later as to what this temperature is going to do. 126 laps are complete. There's the leader, Earnhardt, and staying right with him remains Ernie Irvin. Earlier this week, Colonel John Miller of the U.S. Air Force Reserve presented the Commander's Performance Award to a very special driver in NASCAR ranks, the veteran Jimmy Means.
Thank you, Ken. The Air Force Reserve Commander's Performance Award was established to recognize individuals who have made outstanding contributions to their sport and to their community. With me today is Jimmy Means. Jimmy's a driver whose NASCAR career has spanned over 18 years. He started in over 445 events, and he's respected and admired by his fans and fellow drivers. In addition to his busy racing schedule, Jimmy finds time to work with Race Fans Unlimited and its associated charities programs such as the Lupus Foundation of America and the National Head Injury Foundation. He symbolizes the racing community's spirit of aiding those less fortunate. Jimmy, on behalf of the men and women of the Air Force Reserve, I'd like to present you the Commander's Performance Award. Congratulations and good luck in this race season.
Thank you, Colonel Miller. Considering the people that received this before me, this is quite an honor. I'd just like to thank my crew and all the fans and my sponsors, Hurley Limo and Race Fans Unlimited. Without them, we couldn't, be here this year. And I'd like to encourage all the fans to either start or join the Race Fans Unlimited chapter, and because the percentage of their membership goes to the local charities.
Jimmy Means, and hard luck's hit him again, the former Alabama state champion, but a guy that everyone appreciates for the admirable job he does in bringing out race cars year after year and giving it his very best. His best finish here at Charlotte was 12th back in '88. Now here's the struggle that continues up in front between Earnhardt and Irvin. Jimmy Means' car, you saw it back in the garage. They're trying to get it back on the track. He does keep on trying.
Yep. Speaking back on track, while we were away, Mark Martin did pit. He came in early, must have had a problem. They came in, did change 4 tires. I don't know what it was. We'll see if we can find out.
Watching Earnhardt and Irvin as they continue for the lead. Now about a 4-car length separation between them.
Irvin has tried him the last couple of laps. He got up there real close, made a couple of moves, tried to get under him. Couldn't do it. He's dropped back. He's cooling the tires down. They'll get him another charge going in a minute. Try him one more time.
Take a look at the rest of the field. Here's Lake Speed coming by. And Morgan Shepherd, Kenny Schrader, Bill Elliott coming down through in the 11 car. There you see Jeff Gordon. He's back there in that 9th position, as you see, perhaps your favorite, running in front of this gigantic crowd on this Memorial weekend at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Live, the 34th annual Coca-Cola 600 here on TBS. The leadership is still in question. Earnhardt for the moment has it, but Ernie Irvan looks like he'd like to scoop it away from him at any time.
Yeah, they run a little bit different line. You'll see Irvan, he's even got the left side tires below the line, and he slides up a little bit. Earnhardt gives that inside lane up, lets them try the inside if they want to have it.
Let's take a look at the Autolite race story thus far. These have been your lap leaders, and where the cautions have fallen. Morgan Shepherd leading 48 through 52. Ernie Irvan got a crack at it. Jeff Bodine, that was under a caution period. Jeff Bodine, Irvan back in front, seesawing back and forth. That gives you some idea of the kind of racing we're having here at Charlotte. If you're just joining us in the lap leaders. And yellow is on the track. We've got trouble in the back straightaway.
It's hard to see.
Joe Ruttman in trouble in car number 20. Lands on the bottom of the racetrack. Gets her fired and tries to bring it around. Oh, that's unfortunate for Joe Ruttman.
He had ran out of gas. He was the car that ran out of gas just prior to that caution before. Got a left front tire flat. Could possibly done that in this long slide. Yeah, looked like the left rear is down too. He slid him, blew out the outer tires. He's riding on the inner liners right now. Tire inside of these flat ones.
The Moroso team. Mark Reno waiting for him on pit road. Not a bad break for Joe Ruttman. You see his luck change sometime. The Finalube car coming in with tires down after an incident in turn 2 brings out the 3rd caution of the day. For those of you keeping your racing diary, that comes at lap 134, just 200 miles, 201 miles to be specific into the race. Here's a word from Randy.
Well, we're awaiting all these teams to come on pit road. Morgan Shepherd has radioed in. He would like to take 1 round of wedge out of the left rear. We watched those guys earlier taking those tire temperatures, and I talked to Eddie Wood. That car has moved from about 9th up to 5th, and Eddie said all we did was bump the spoiler up a little, give her a round of wedge, and Morgan's in good shape. We're waiting down here now for their arrival on pit road.
So that's the story. Pit road is going to be where it is right now after repulsing Ernie Irvan for the last 25 laps. The decision will be made by which team has the fastest pit crew as to how they'll line up again. Here they come in at about, what, 60 miles an hour today?
55 miles an hour speed
today.
limit.
55 mile an hour limit. And yesterday in practice in that final happy hour, they ran them all through the pits behind the pace car to give them an idea of how that was going to work. Here's Dick Berggren.
Ernie Irvan is in the pit. Tony Glover is orchestrating this thing on the right front. Johnny Townsend, Clint Ballard's on the right rear. Jackman, Jerry McClure, Tim Morgan's on the fuel, and Bill Marsh is loosening the tires. A little bit of a wedge change there on the left rear corner of the car. Right side tires on, left side tires about to go. It's a drag race out of the pits. Great stop, 20:49 for the number 4 car.
And just in front of him, just barely in front of him, the number 3 car as they come back on the track. So there you see them. Earnhardt and Irvan continue their struggle as they were. We'll be back with more of the Coca-Cola 600 from Charlotte, North Carolina, following these messages. At the Coca-Cola 600, Lake Speed, who's been running 3rd, trailing some fluid out of the back of the car, has gone into the garage area. I wonder if Johnny Hayes is down there.
Yes, Ken, we're here. It's heartbreak for Lake Speed. There's a line of oil all the way in where he ran in. Looked like he broke a rear end. He's sitting in the car. As you can see, people are crawled up under the car trying to fix a rear end. They're pulling the axle out. It's a tough deal for him.
We'll try to get back to you and get a word from Lake if they're going to be there a while. Right now, let's go to the STP Pit Center and Rick Benjamin.
Ken, something everyone will want to watch here in the next 45 minutes or so. We're told that on weather radar there is rain headed our way. Johnny Hayes showed us that AccuWeather radar picture a little while ago. There were storms west and south of North Carolina, of central North Carolina. Looks as though that rain may be headed our way. This race could be affected by it. Also, Mark Martin went down a lap, had to make a green flag pit stop 10 or 15 laps ago, had a vibration, needed a 4-tire change. Martin trying to get back on the lead lap now.
17 lead changes among 7 drivers are being reported. 3 cautions to date. We're in the latest one for Joe Ruttman. The most lead changes was 54 back in 79. Here's Harry Gantz, number 33 on pit road. We'll try to get you an update on that one as we get ready to go green.
What you need to watch on this restart is the 6th car is a lap down He's going to try to get back. There's the 33 of Harry Gant getting service, going back out. But this 6 car is on the inside line, and he's a lap down. He'll be battling Earnhardt to get this lap back.
That was because of that unscheduled stop. So here he comes, getting ready for a go. Down they come out of turn number 4. Here they come to the line. Earnhardt out in front. Martin in second. Elliott in third. Allison fourth. Morgan Shepherd fifth. Jeff Gordon is sixth. On the breakaway at lap 138.
Earnhardt back up on the outside. The 4 car would like to see him keep the 6 down. He's going to work with a 3. Try to push him around. He'd love to see that 6 stay a lap down. Martin's got a car capable of winning the race. Boy, the 21 car really got a shot coming off turn 4. Got it straightened out.
There's the 21 car. Morgan Shepherd skittered up the track. And still having problems in the field, rolling beneath him now. Let's take a look at what happened here, Neil Bonner.
This was, they were coming up to the restart. You see the 21 out there on the outside. They're coming off turn 4. Let's see when it happens. We see the 42 the inside of him. He's going to be the little left of the shot. We'll pick him back up right here. There's the 21 coming off the corner. Oh, he just got into the outside wall. And then Gordon tapped him in the rear. Looked like he got into the wall coming off turn 4. And this is live. He's coming down pit road to get this thing fixed.
So the Citgo number 21 has collected the wall, and Ernie Pemberton is waiting for him on pit road. Meanwhile, up in front, Earnhardt stays there, and still Mark Martin trying to take his lap back as Morgan Shepherd settles down, tries to get that car to stop, and it makes it. The brakes are still working on 21. Let's go to Randy.
Well, it was a flat tire on the right side. They're not sure even if it was the right front or the right rear. Eddie Wood had just radioed to Morgan a few laps ago, said 60 laps to go. We got to go for it. It's going to rain. I guess Morgan was going for it.
Well, what didn't help him, Randy, is evidently he had a tire down. Had a tire go flat, and when it restarted, he drove it off forward, got it right in the wall.
Well, there is the potential for a shower. Remember, we have 142 laps this time in. 200 laps would make the race official, Neil.
I would suggest all pacing be over. I would suggest now these guys are going to race. You can't plan on waiting later while this going the 5 car turn down pit road of Ricky Rudd. He's having a problem. Here's Earnhardt out front with a 6 right behind him trying to get that lap back.
Now let's remember how they're deployed up in front. Earnhardt is in the lead. The number 6 is a lap down. Then it's Ernie Irvin running in second place. They're followed by, and here's Ricky Rudd on pit road making this unscheduled stop.
Kind of an unhurried stop. That's a bad sign. When they raise that hood and everybody kind of throws everything behind pit wall, they know they got a major problem.
Phil Parsons, number 41, a lap car, is running with that lead group and running very well. And here comes Mark Martin as he screws up his courage and goes to the inside in turn number 3, tried to get underneath Earnhardt. He gave it a tremendous run. And Earnhardt on the outside drove away by 2 car lengths.
I tell you what, you'll see that. You'll see somebody drive up under Earnhardt, and he seems like he'll just drive it 4 or 5 car lengths deeper in the corner than the next guy. That's where he's really tough, is trying to get a car under him in the corner. He'll drive right back outside of it.
Now notice that Phil Parsons, number 41 car. He's running in 25th position at the present time. He's showing 22 cars in the lead lap. Gant is the last car in the lead lap at 22nd. Then Rudd is in 23rd, Martin in 24th, 25th Parsons. And you can see that Martin has squirreled himself away and got himself back up for a run. Try to get back in that lead lap. Back to the inside, the Halleck-Myers car, number 90. Continuing their own battle today to stay with this thing. Get themselves a good finishing position for Bobby Hillen. He's running in 16th in the lead lap. Again, Martin went down in there, dove in hard, and Earnhardt just bites the bullet and comes up the outside.
Let me tell you what you're going to do. You have to buckle the belts up pretty hard to drive deeper in the corner than Earnhardt does. You'll get the car under him, and he'll almost break the speed. He'll just drive it by you going down in the corner. He's got a lot of confidence in that race car.
Again, Martin trying to take the lap back. He's there out of 2. Now let's see what happens in this back straightaway and into 3.
completely behind him going in the corner. And watch this, sails the thing way down in the corner. But Martin's up enough this time, he might be able to get him up off the corner. Here comes Earnhardt, right? They get together right there, coming off turn 4.
Just barely nudging each other. Mark Martin, and for the moment he seems to have pulled away enough, and he's bringing Ernie Irvin along.
Yeah, they touched just enough, and allowed the 4 to get under him also.
So that puts Martin back in the lead lap. It gives us 23 cars up in that front lap. If the caution were to come out now, then Martin could circulate around the track and close in on those top cars. New leader is Ernie Irvin. Earnhardt is in second. So Ricky Rudd there going very slowly. Ricky Rudd coming by the 5, getting overlapped another time. The 11 car is being shown third. That's Bill Elliott after that last pit stop. You see him right there. Bill Elliott in third, Davey Allison in fourth, Jeff Gordon in fifth, and the word is everyone is being told to stand up. They're looking for some showers. They know that they are coming up on lap 150 in a couple. All they've got to do is get to 200 and they can win this thing if they get some serious rain. That changes the strategy a little. We'll talk about that strategy change right after we return with the 2-time champion of the 600, Neil Bonnet. Stay with us. 34th annual Coca-Cola 600 from North Carolina.
Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Coca-Cola 600. We are under caution for the 3rd time this afternoon. Actually, the 4th caution of the race on the 156th lap. Doyle Ford showing the yellow to the field. We're told that Mark Martin has gotten his lap back as we come to this caution period for debris on the racetrack. And all these teams, Neil Bonnet, have to be very concerned about the advancing weather front.
Yeah, I tell you what, Mark Martin did get that lap back, and they're telling these guys that weather is coming. But let me tell you, we're dealing with a racetrack that has lights. It might rain, but don't hesitate. These folks will run it to midnight tonight or even later. They'll stay till they get this race over with probably. So these guys are going to try to get up front and fight this weather off. But here come the leaders. We see them all turning down. Here's Irvin leading. 3 car coming in. Got the entire pack coming in. They're going to put some fresh tires on these things and be ready to battle for this last little run here. If it does have some bad, if we do have some bad weather.
We're told that there is metal on the racetrack above the white line in turn 2, so that's what the safety crew is going to concern itself with as we watch the crew of Davey Allison ready to jump the wall. Dick Berggren is there.
Well, the crew is going to just change the 4 tires. They're not going to change the air pressure in the tires. They're not going to change the wedge or anything else. Robert Yates says this car is running just right. They've got the right side tires changed on the car, looking on the left sides, and they're also looking up pit road to see what's happening. Randy Pemberton, what is going on up there?
Well, Dale Earnhardt down and away, beats everybody off of pit road. Davey Allison is close. Ernie Irvin down and away. It's a race to the start-finish line at the end of pit road.
Tire got away from one of the crews there as everyone makes it back out. We take a look from overhead at the Bojangles team, the Cale Yarborough Motorsports crew, working to clear some debris off the grill of that Ford Thunderbird wheel today and all year long by Derek Cope. Jacks down, cars away. We've got some great battles taking shape here. Davey Allison had really started to inject himself in that battle for the lead, Neil.
He's got his car really running better. Him and Bill Elliott both made big gains. There's one of Davey's crewmen. One of their tires got away from them, went across pit road, and they had to go get it after everybody got off of pit road.
Field regrouping now behind the safety car, and they'll be set to put the green back out here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Dale Earnhardt showing the way, but Davey Allison has snuck his Ford Thunderbird well up into contention here as we work closer and closer to halfway in front of a wonderful crowd. More of the cars coming in on this caution period. The yellow will stay out for a while longer, so that'll give the Kyle Petty crew, the Sabatis Sabco Motorsports crew, a chance to service the number 42. Kyle Petty's car getting ready to get back into action. Kyle and his crew they've really been chasing that car all afternoon in terms of its handling capabilities. They're taking their time under caution here. Kyle gets the car back in gear. They drop it off the jack stands as we look further up pit road. Up and back a little further along, you see the car of Dick Trickle being worked on. The 9 of Chad Little moving out. The Phenolube Ford of Joe Ruttman that's had some problems today. He spun and flattened all 4 tires. He's back in action as well here.
156 laps are down with Earnhardt in command. Davey Allison now second. Bill Elliott third. Wallace fourth. Sterling Marlin in fifth. Jeff Gordon is sixth. Darrell Waltrip seventh. Jimmy Spencer eighth. Ernie Irvin ninth. And Michael Waltrip in 10th. And note that Waltrip, Darrell, number 17, is all of a sudden in that 7th position on the race. as the word is out to him, I'm sure, on the radio as well, that we better get with the program from here on in.
Yeah, he said he was going to pace himself a little bit. He was way back in about 20-something place the whole entire time. Maybe Darrell's got that game plan. He talked about it at the top of the show that he was one of them that lays back. It's time to show what you got, and he's working his way to the front.
235.5 miles have been completed as we zero in on the 300-mile mark. A lap, and they're going to turn them loose. And Davey Allison becomes the challenger now with his Texaco Haviland Thunderbird for that Goodwrench Chevrolet number 3 up in front. Getting set on a restart with Davey Allison bearing down the 1991 600 winner on the 2-time champion of the race, Dale Earnhardt, in car number 3, who won it in '86 and is the defending champion.
There's some guys on top of these motorhomes out there. They don't care if it rains. They want to let's have some racing. They're ready to turn them loose.
Somebody out there looks like a Martin fan.
I tell you what, I walked in the infield this morning, Ken. They closed the infield to traffic yesterday, and they were walking in, just carrying all their stuff in. They'd let you buy a ticket and walk in the infield. You might not have a place to sit down, but you could walk in. It's packed.
Getting set on the restart. Let me carry on further back in the field for you. Jeff Bodine is 11th, Hensley 12th, Rick Wilson 13th, Greg Sachs 14th, Bobby Hillin 15th, Schrader 16th, Rich Bickle showing in the 17th position. Then we see Mark Martin in 18th, Musgrave 19th, Jarrett 20. Bobby Labonte is in 21. Derek Cope and Cale's car is back in 22nd. 23rd is Gant, and 24th is Wallace. 24 cars in the lead lap as they take green at lap 159.
Here's that opportunity again for Kyle Petty to try to get that lap back. Earnhardt swept right around him. Kyle earlier got in front of the guys, but this time Earnhardt got the jump, trying to keep Kyle wrapped in. Also, what that did is got the 42 car in between the 28.
They've just taken Kenny Wallace off that lead lap and put him back, so there's 23 cars remaining on the first lap, on the lead lap. Good jump on the start by Earnhardt over Allison. And Bill Elliott, the guy who sat on the pole for this race a year ago. I mean, this was a Bill Elliott weekend as it started a year back. He is thundering once again, moving back into this thing in car number 11, third spot.
They've really improved on his car because earlier in the week they couldn't get it up to speed. They didn't run like they wanted to in the Winston. Boy, it looks like they really got the thing working today. There's Davey, made big gains on his car. Said he's going to try something different. Whatever they tried, it's working better today.
Now we understand the satellite has been down, Neil, for about 8 minutes. That the satellite feed across the country has been down for a bit. It's been on in Atlanta. The folks in Atlanta have been able to enjoy the race, but other parts of the country may have been interrupted by a satellite transmission problem. And we're pleased to say we think that's rectified. We're okay from here on.
The biggest thing that's happened in this deal is Earnhardt has reasserted himself in the lead. People like Davey Allison and Bill Elliott, we're talking about maybe some threatening weather. They've worked their way to the front.
They have completed 162 laps, 243 miles. Get another 57 miles in here, and they can call that race official. But I would think with the lights and so forth, they'd stay and try to get more of it in. But should they get into a serious rain condition, that's changed the entire way the race is being run. Look at this battle further back in the field, the way everybody's thinking about running this. Now they're going for it. Take a look at number 12, the Meineke car. That's Jimmy Spencer out of Pennsylvania as he hustles that car down out of turn 4. Mark back in 17th. See Ernie Irvin's car number 4 scooting up through traffic. He is in the 8th position.
Let's go down to Randy Pemberton in the pits. He's got a message for us with this report.
Well, there's a lot of pressure on these pit crews, and the Ernie Irvin's team had a little pressure the last stop. They had a lug nut stick on the left rear tire. The pit stop took a while. Ernie fell back to 9th place when they came off of pit road. Ernie came over the radio and said, "What'd you do? Stop for lunch?" So a lot of pressure on these teams and a lot of pressure on the drivers as well, but he wanted to loosen the crew up and say, hey, don't worry about it. We'll get him next time.
He is running in the 8th position, Ernie Irvin. Randy was bringing you up to date on. Just in front of him is Jimmy Spencer in the number 12, the Bobby Allison team. Spencer is running in 7th. Irvin is 8th. Michael Waltrip is in 9th. And Jimmy Spencer has come from 27th position with the Meineke Ford.
Really running good. Spencer gets after that car. He really hustles all the time. They ran good here last year. Was one of the keys to him getting in this race car. Now he's doing having a good run today.
Davey Allison has cleared the lap traffic out, and he has a clean shot at Earnhardt another time for the lead. For 167 complete this time by the 5-time Winston Cup champion Earnhardt, who runs so well here. And here comes Bodine onto pit road. 10th place car, the Bud Moore Motorcraft Ford Thunderbird number 15 rolls in. Unscheduled stop, looks like right side rubber.
You know, we saw as we were watching that shot off turn 4, him turn in, said he bounced off the wall. Oh, he's got a tire mark, got up against somebody right there.
That was there earlier. That mark's been around a while, I think.
Well, I tell you what, as close as this race has been, they're going to get a few tire marks on each other during the course of this race, but they were going to tires, so they must think it's a problem there. What really concerns you is when that hood goes up. Maybe they can correct this.
An early leader in this race, Jeff Bodine in that Ford. He's away and going down a lap as he comes back on the track. Best finish in the 600 was back in '89 when he came home in 4th position. This is his 11th 600 go. Meanwhile, you see the situation up in front. The black number 3 of Earnhardt stays first. Now Allison into second. Then the lap car of Phil Parsons, followed by the red number 11. That's Bill Elliott.
Davey Allison's got a good run right here. He didn't have anyone between him and Earnhardt. It's going to be interesting now to see. Yates said his car felt good. Davey must be telling him things feeling good. See if he can do anything with Earnhardt.
There you see the first two. Now take a look at this. Here's Rusty Wallace in 4th, and he's just a few car lengths behind Bill Elliott. Rusty Wallace in 4th, about to be challenged by Jeff Gordon in the 24 car.
Ken, is this writing on the wall that there is a big change in this racetrack? Here's Davey Allison, who didn't run good the first race. Bill Elliott, who didn't run good at first race. 24 car was back in 20-something place. Seems like all these guys are starting. Rusty Wallace, we never heard of him earlier. Now he's right back in it. Track's changing, some different guys coming to the front.
And something's amiss with Ricky Rudd another time in car number 5, and it looks like it might be terminal. He's slowing down dramatically here. In this, his 17th start in the 600, he pulls onto pit road. 3rd year that he's been with the Rick Hendrick Racing Team, trying to give Rick Hendrick his 34th Winston Cup victory, but something is amiss. And we're also seeing Lake Speed coming out of the garage area and back onto the track as Ricky Rudd comes in slowly.
Well, you're talking about Ricky being with Rick for 3 years. It's also the last year they've made the announcement that Rudd is going to leave. He's going to start his own race team. So this is the last year with Rudd and the 5.
So you have Jeff Bodine forming his own team. Ricky Rudd, the number 5, is going to form his own team. And Brett Bodine told me the other night he'd like to do that. We understand that satellite condition, which has been a red condition for a while, went off again, Neil, and it's back again.
I guess what
Sorry,
we're going
folks,
to do,
but there's nothing we can do from here.
We'll just send one of these race car mechanics down. They can fix anything. You don't think they want to hear that, though, do you?
I don't think they want to hear that. See Lake Speed getting lapped. Now let's get back with you again as to where we are. 171 laps are now complete. That gets us to 256.5 miles. And there you see how they're running. Earnhardt, Chevrolet first. Allison, Ford second. Elliott, Ford third. Wallace, Pontiac fourth. Jeff Gordon, Chevrolet fifth. Ernie Irvin, Chevrolet sixth. Spencer, Ford seventh. Michael Waltrip, Pontiac 8th, Darrell Waltrip, Chevrolet 9th, and Rick Wilson, Pontiac in 10th position at the present time. Further back in the field, here's the car number 90, Bobby Hillen, still waging his own war. He's in the lead lap, running in 15th position for the Helig Myers people, the Junie Donlevy car. Pretty good run today for Bobby Hillen in car number 90. Coming into the main straightaway. Now there's the 9 car. That's Chad Little in the Orkin machine. He finds himself still running, but 2 laps down in 3rd, and Hut Strickland is well off the pace today in the car number 27, running in 29th position. That is actually a battle for the slot. Lake Speed back out. He broke the rear end earlier. Now he's on the track, but several laps down with Earnhardt in command. Once again at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, watching Dale Earnhardt trying to win the 600 for the third time. Bearing down on the halfway mark, 178 of the 400 laps have been completed. You see Lake Speed many laps down, having fixed a broken rear end on car number 83, running right behind him and just as stout as he was in the early going. But the second place man is truly Davey Allison, with Bill Elliott third, Jeff Gordon maintaining fourth position. Let's go to Johnny Hayes.
Have Ricky Rudd here. Ricky, running fine. You've had trouble with this car finishing races. What happened?
Well, we lost another motor, Johnny. I don't really have an answer for it. You know, we go for years and never lose a motor, and all of a sudden we lose about 5 motors in one season, and I don't really know why. You know, it's basically I'm hired to drive, and when the motor goes south, I just try to keep it going. We lost the valve early. We fell back, kind of not too bad. We kind of be able to try to get a good finish out of it, and we lost another valve, and that was the end of the day.
Maybe we'll get them at Dover.
I hope so. We won there the last race, but we're far cry from that right now. I just hope to be able to finish the race.
Okay, good luck to you.
Thank you, John.
Best finish was fourth back in '81 in this race. Just doesn't work for Ricky Rudd here, although he's had some success last year at Dover. We understand there was an electrical strike that put that satellite down. Here's the 21, Morgan Checkered, coming back in.
I was getting nervous. I ain't sure we paid the power bill for a minute there. I'm glad to hear it was lightning.
Mother Nature nailed it solid. They've got an alternative working. Seems to be going good for the moment. Davey Allison has closed up a little in his quest for that first spot, and Lake Speed's trying to take that lead lap away as we get himself back one as we take a look at the Napa standings. There's the 18 car coming by. That is Dale Jarrett, and right behind him is Mark Martin in the 9th position. Dale Jarrett, for the moment, in the Joe Gibbs car, secure in 8th. He's running about a third of a lap down from the leaders, just about a third of a lap back. This battle for 8th position between Dale Jarrett and Mark Martin. Martin started in 3rd today. He too a former leader of the event. Back with the, and look at Lake Speed just hanging in on the bottom of the racetrack, and that thing will percolate.
Yeah, he's 36 laps down right here, and he's trying to get one up back. Davey Allison, while Earnhardt's racing on the outside, Davey Allison's really closed in.
Use up any more car on the outside?
Use up a good bit more. I'm sure NASCAR will give him the option to get by and get that lap by. If it continues on the battle there, they'll, you know, sometimes they'll call and they say, look, you're way back. Let's back off. But Lake's car's wasn't good enough. He got one of them. Now he's 35 laps down.
Well, he's trying to make a good show of it today and get himself up here and let people know that he can still cut the mustard. He's doing an excellent job. He was right in the midst of the hunt early in the going, up there in 3rd spot before that rear end broke on car 83. Irvin's 4th, Jeff Gordon 5th, Rusty Wallace 6th, Jimmy Spencer in 7th. 5 drivers have retired from the race. We'll update that attrition for you shortly. 184 laps are now complete. Here's Davey Allison closing in. A 2-time winner and a former champion going at it. Think those radios are humming with news about the weather out here?
Well, Ken, I think they put that on the back burner right now. You know, looking at, I mean, I don't have a radar machine like Johnny Hayes, but I can look out the windows and I can see a long way. And we're a little way away from getting any rain in this area.
The 98 car being rolled back. The Bojangles car, Cale Yarborough's team, going behind the wall. Take a look at this, 6 and 18 for the 8th position. Good scramble for 8. Dale Jarrett trying to hold on to Mark Martin, but Martin scoots through with the Ford. And he puts that Chevy down a spot. For first place, Davey Allison, bottom side. Earnhardt up on top. And Earnhardt once again wrests first place from Davey Allison. The challenge still on in the back straightaway. Davey Allison at turn 3. Earnhardt still trying to hold him off. Allison on the bottom as they come around a complete 187. Robert Yates looking on. Earnhardt with the advantage.
Well, you'll usually see him right here. Earnhardt will go in, then the next guy will make the run on him up off the corner. Dale's car gets in the corner real hard. Looks like Davey made a run. They're going to lay back and get ready to try it again in a minute.
So Earnhardt forges back into a 2-car length advantage over Davey Allison in second as Elliott lies third, Irvin fourth, Jeff Gordon fifth. Again, way down at the bottom this time. Davey Allison pulls alongside. Chevy on the outside, Ford on the inside. And there you see, right behind them, the Bill Elliott car at number 11, maintaining the third position.
Elliott is gaining on him while they're doing this racing. Elliott's running that high line up there. We see Davey go the inside of Earnhardt. The trick here, when they get to the end of the straight, cut up on a lap car this time. Earnhardt's usually able to drive right back on the outside. Davey saw that lap car, had to give a little bit of room here. While this is going on, Elliott is closing in a hurry right behind him.
Sterling Marlin on the bottom in the number 8 Vestas car, giving ground and letting those 3 leaders come through now. What would be your strategy to try to get around your old buddy Earnhardt?
Let me tell you what, if you want to try to drive it in the corner deep into he does, you better take a deep breath. I mean, you can work him and work him and work him, and then he'll give you that inside line, and then when you take it, he'll just sailor in there another couple car lengths. Only thing you do, just keep trying to run him in the ground, hope he can wear the tires out.
Here's Ernie Irvan getting below Kyle Petty, having his problems in the Coca-Cola 600. So Earnhardt and Allison up in front, but the new player is Bill Elliott. Elliott has come to third from 30th position, and he's looking strong. Getting down to halfway, 197 laps are complete. Earnhardt's in front. Davey Allison is in second spot, about 4 car lengths back. With more on the Davey Allison ride today, let's go to Randy Pembert.
Well, folks, we saw Davey Allison going door to door with Earnhardt a few laps back. We noticed that he was out in front of him when they crossed the start-finish line. But that is not where they score these cars. That is where they start the race, and that is where they finish the race. Where they score these cars, you'll see a painted stripe up in turn 4 that runs across the racetrack. Behind that, that is the scorer's stand. All the laps in between the first green flag lap and the last are scored from up there. So Davey Allison is yet to lead a lap here in the Coca-Cola 600.
Well, he's giving it a go right now.
Until today, Bill Elliott has had a dismal season with blown engines, crashes, and just plain lousy running. But as bad as Bill Elliott needs the great run he's having now, and he is in third, the crew probably needs it even more. Some fans just cannot believe the problem could be with their favorite driver, Elliott, and they have begun to take it out on the crew. Crew chief Mike Beam says he started to get mail at home telling him he ought to resign, he doesn't work hard enough on the car, and he says even getting into the racetrack right now is tough with some of the fans. Well, this good run today ought to fix all that.
The best finish Bill Elliott has ever had here has been second. Back in 1982 he did it. Back in 90 he came home second, and he's going into second place right now on the outside of Davey Allison. Bill Elliott securing second position. The crew chief Mike Beam, car owner Junior Johnson, and the chief engine builder Jeff Wilson. And you can see the interval between the two as we reach the halfway mark. We're halfway home with Earnhardt, the 2-time 600 champion, out in front. Bill Elliott here in his 18th performance at the 600, trying for his first win.
Kenny's able to get around Davey. Bill's running a totally different line. Watch where Elliott goes. You see Earnhardt right on the bottom. Get back to Elliott. We'll see he runs right on the top. Here we go. See Elliott right up top. Earnhardt and Davey are running the bottom of the racetrack. Elliott's running right around the wall.
At that spring classic over in Atlanta, Elliott had his best finish of 1993, and that was only a 9th, Neil. So this is some performance that they put together on car number 11, the Budweiser T-Bird. Mike Beam and company have him fly, but here's Davey Allison coming right back after him as it's Ford against Ford in the second position.
Ken, they really should interfere with each other because Davey runs the bottom, Elliott runs the top. They're running 2 totally different places on the track. It's not going to slow them up very much racing like that.
When you talk about the 2.5 mile tracks, you talk about running like that side by side. It's slowing cars down and letting people catch up. What about here on the 1.5 miles?
Well, you feel the draft some, but this thing is a lot of handling. A lot of the middle of the corner, a lot of motor that really accelerates. The motor does the work more than the aero stuff on the car, just being good slick.
blazing under the lights. Bill Elliott back to second place. What's going on with that team this year, Bill?
You have your ups and downs, and with much stuff happened over the winter within junior shop and stuff, and all that's going on between NASCAR changes and everything else. It's just been a combination that caught up to us, and you know, we've had some racing bad luck on top of that. We've just been terrible.
22nd in points as he comes to this race at Charlotte, North Carolina. He's right up in the thick of it, but not this year. But for the moment, Bill Elliott is as stout and strong as anything on the racetrack. Here comes Davey Allison back after him another time. Elliott up on the high side, that part of the track that Richard Petty, Harry Gant always liked to ride, right up on the rim.
Yep, they're there going on around the outside of Hut Strickland. That's Junior Johnson's other race car, Davey's cousin-in-law, or what did you call him in Alabama? But take a look at the lights. You know, we told you it was going to change. We're starting to see more and more light showing on the car, so it's starting to get a little bit darker now. We're going to enter the night here before long, change of track.
We'll get ready to review halfway in this race after we pause for these messages in the 600.
Back live at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Dale Earnhardt into turn 3, continuing to wire the field here in the Coca-Cola 600. Earnhardt hoping to make this his second consecutive victory in this event here on TBS. I'm Rick Benjamin. Good to be with you this afternoon. We're just past halfway. Let's show you our Race Fans Unlimited race summary at halfway. We'd had 19 lead changes among 7 different drivers with an average speed of just over 145 miles an hour. 4 caution periods so far, 17 laps total, and we have 6 cars out of the event at this point. Here's who's been out in front of the pack. Kenny Schrader, who started from the pole and led early. Mark Martin had early strength. Jeff Bodine ran well early. Morgan Shepherd, who's kissed the wall twice, had his turn at the head of the van. Ernie Urban, Dale Earnhardt, who's there now. Rich Bickle led a lap under caution as well. We don't hear his name in with the lap leaders very often. Here are the drivers who have had an unfortunately early end to their activities on this Memorial Day Sunday. Brett Bodine out after just 5 laps with a blown motor. Wally Dallenbach Jr., motor problems. Dave Marcus as well. Jimmy Means, an exhaust system problem. Ricky Rudd dropped a valve and then lost a motor. And Derek Cope with terminal overheating problems. That's the way it shapes up as we look forward to a great second half of racing here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
210 laps are complete. Now there's a way to sneak in for free. Just bring your own balloon.
Better go check him for a ticket or they'll get him over here.
Here's Ernie Urban. He's ballooning up into a real contender once again. Ernie Urban is running in 4th place, and he's closing down on Davey Allison. Earnhardt first, Elliott second, Davey Allison third, and Ernie Urban is definitely closing, chopping that interval down between himself and Davey.
Yeah, he jumped. Ted Musgrave hit the wall coming off turn 4 just as we were talking, Ken. Got it straightened up, no problem. Ernie was joking earlier about his crew took a lunch break on that pit stop. He certainly didn't go out to lunch. He's been hustling that car along and closed up almost a half a track distance. He's gained over the leader.
Well, we understand it's raining over in Atlanta. How's it doing here, Johnny Hayes?
Well, it's looking a lot better. It's AccuWeather down here. If you'll check the screen, we're still in Charlotte, and it's really clear in our area. It's all the way up to Columbia. You can see Florence over here. I think we've got a real good shot at getting this thing in.
Where is John on that? Where was Charlotte? I missed the designation. I thought it looked like storms all around you there.
Hey, let me tell you what.
There
we go.
There you are.
Let me tell you, when Hayes is doing the weather, the best thing to do is open the door and stick your hand out.
It's down below. You can see that weather down there to the south of Charlotte, North Carolina with the 300. It was bunched up there. It looked like it was going to come right over us about an hour ago. There's Rick Wilson back on pit road. This at lap 213. Running in 17th position. $1,200,000 at stake today. Of course, Richard Petty has won this race on occasion. Now comes in here as the car owner, hoping to have them get up into a good finishing position. They've been running in the lead lap most of the day in car number 44. Now they've just fallen back 1 lap. And there you see the 55 that scraped the wall. Ted Musgrave in the Jasper Engines car. And there's Bodine scooting beneath him.
Again, when he gets ready, we'll take a look at the right side tires. He really kissed that wall coming off turn 4. I can't help but think he's got them all squared up. Let's take a look as he comes back. Yeah, see the sheet metal. The tires are even solid white where the wall was. He hit that thing pretty hard when he came off turn 4.
USA
and he did it again.
Like you're giving us replay there, Neil.
No, that's live. What he's trying to do, he's just trying to stay out He's close to being lapped. And what you normally do, stay out till the leader passes you. As soon as he passes you, come in. Then when Earnhardt by, he'll come in this time.
Why?
Well, you stay out just in case the caution comes out. Earnhardt was about a half a straightaway behind him. He'll wait till the leader passes him. If you turn in and the caution comes out, you feel like a dummy. You usually wait till the leader comes in by you, but he waited too long. He got in the wall the second time.
You saw Earnhardt put a lap on him. Here's Ted Musgrave from Franklin, Wisconsin, onto pit road of the U.S. Air Machine. He's had a 5th here in 92 at that Miller 500 up at Pocono a year ago. And let's take a look at that second hit. This is a pretty solid clout.
Yeah, this is when we were talking to him. Bounced it off that wall. Probably the steering is all out of line on the front end. Doesn't have much control. They put several rounds of bite in the car also. Down the left rear back there, putting a lot of bite in. You're going to have to beat that body work off of there. These cars on this size track. Here comes Ken Schrader down. While we're talking, Schrader, one of the front guys coming in.
16 cars in the lead lap at 217 laps complete. Here is Schrader on pit road, running in 10th position, and Darrell Waltrip running in 11th, also pitting at this opportunity. Green flag pit stop with 16 cars in the lead lap. The sort out continues.
I was wondering if they were going to go 4-2, but they're going to go around and do 4 tires. They've got this pit stop routine down so good now. See them still putting fuel in the car over there? If that man's going to have to be there and put fuel in it, you might as well go ahead and put the tires on. So nowadays they just get 4 just as well as 2.
4 tires and 22 gallons of fuel in about 20.5 seconds and away.
A lot of the leaders coming in now. A lot of cars starting to turn in. Waldrop's coming in. 7 car. 8.
And the 30, the 12th place car, Michael Waltrip. Jimmy Hensley in the 7 car on pit road. Sterling Marlin in the 8 car. He makes it on the pit road.
2 car, Rusty Wallace turning down pit road.
You see it there?
He was in 6th place. Now this crew here has been blistering everybody on pit stops. This 2 car has just thrown everybody out the window on how long it takes to change tires.
Now, this is the first time today under green making these pit stops.
We got the clock running, we'll get an idea, but they're using this team here, the rest of the NASCAR teams, as a gauge to what to do to get in and out of the pits. They've been doing 4 tires in 16 seconds. Earnhardt's coming down pit road. Elliott, Allison, all the leaders come. 17-4 for 4 tires. That's getting it done.
Here's Earnhardt coming in. Let's follow the Richard Childress team. They get ready to service car number 3. This at lap 220. Mark Martin is pitting. Davey Allison is in as well.
They started the clock. We didn't pick it up till it was on 3 or 4 seconds. We'll see how much difference is involved here. A little bit of problem on the right rear. Looked like the lug nut fell off the right rear. One, he had to pick it back up. Cost him a little bit of time. They're going to give Earnhardt a 15-second penalty for coming down pit road too fast. We just got a message from NASCAR.
Whoa.
They're going to hold him. You see the guy in the white standing in front of Earnhardt. Guy with a white clothes on with a red hat. He's holding 15 seconds. There he goes.
So subtract 15 seconds on that 31.6. You get an idea of what he turned that in. And still, no question about it, the Wallace team has made one of the faster pit stops under green here today. So as the pit stops continue, for the moment, Jeff Gordon, the rookie, has the lead in the 600.
Out of gas.
He is slowing down and out of gas. 5th caution of the day came at an inopportune time for some. And of course, that always means there's an opportunity to really pick some time up for others, as Rusty Wallace had trouble up in turn number 2. Let's take a look as he's running here beside Bill Elliott.
Boy, the back end just came out from under the 2 car. Rusty was trying to drive under Bill, and the back end broke loose. He's headed down toward that inside wall. Got it locked down, but he's going to get into that inside wall.
Give it a smack right here.
Yeah, cave the front of the car in a little bit. But the worst thing that happened here is Rusty, when he just pitted and got tires and he thought he was on new rubber, thought he was in good shape, it just broke loose trying to get up under Bill.
So now they're trying to repair right front on car number 2. You can see the Buddy Parrott crew down there working on it. Now let's talk about the 24 for a moment. Jeff Gordon, as you recall, as we were leaving you, he was coming by as the leader, and you could see the car burp and run out of fuel. Then it got a surge, and it carried it around, but it may have cost him a lap.
Yeah, let me tell you what happens in a case like this. One of the worst things that happens in the scoring division, okay, 18 cars stayed out. Everybody else had just pitted. Looks like everybody went a lap down while Jarrett stayed out. It's going to be a question. 18 and the 22 might be the only two cars that didn't go a lap down because they stretched it. We're going to have to see what happens, but it looked like this is one of those circumstances where somebody stays out, the rest of the field goes a lap down.
How about Dale Jarrett, Bobby Labonte first and second, Jeff Gordon third, and Phil Parsons fourth. We'll confirm that when we come back.
Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're in the second half of the Coca-Cola 600 today. Great to have you with us here on TBS. At the moment, everyone's scrambling on pit road. Dale Jarrett has taken advantage of the Rusty Wallace spin to claim the lead, and he's got almost a lap on the field. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But, of course, all these drivers gun for a portion of a $200,000 cash pot put up by True Value Hardware. It's called the True Value Hard Charger Awards. Every lap of the race, the top 5 drivers in the standings pick up points. $5,000 per race goes to those point scorers. $50,000 is the end of the season purse, and here's where it stands now. Coming into today's event, Rusty Wallace, the hard charger leader, over Dale Earnhardt, Mark Martin, Ernie Irvin, and Kyle Petty. So we'll keep an eye on this for you for the rest of the afternoon. Meantime, on pit road, Rusty Wallace with problems. Dick Berggren is there.
Third time on pit road so far. They're trying to patch up this front end. This is an aerodynamic, important racetrack. They're taping the front end of this car again, putting some more fuel in it. Rusty Wallace is really going to have his work cut out for him. Crew says car's not badly damaged. Don't you believe it? Their faces say otherwise.
As he comes out, we're ready to go green. There'll be 228 laps complete as they come to the line. Now here's how they've lined them up. Those cars that got trapped in the back are up in front of the 2 leaders. Dale Jarrett and Bobby Labonte are actually first and second in this field. And the rest of the cars in the lead lap are starting just in front of them. In other words, they're on the tail end of the lead lap as they turn them loose. They've got to come all the way around to catch Dale Jarrett, number 18, the 500 winner, and Bobby Labonte, who stayed out there and gained a little.
They just gave a stop and go on the 24 car for the restart, so he's coming in.
Jeff Gordon.
Ken, what this amounts to is on this mile-and-a-half racetrack, they're a mile and a quarter behind right now. They got a long way to go unless another caution comes out.
And if a caution comes out, they'll circulate around, get themselves back up into this thing.
Earnhardt and Bill Elliott, who were running really good while ago, they jumped out to a big lead. They want to stay out there and hope to get that caution flag and get that lap back, or either just drive all the way around and get your lap back.
Now there's your leader in the middle of things. Remember, he is coming from, he's on the lead lap, and those other cars in the lead lap were in front of him on the tail end of that lead lap. So as you watch Dale Jarrett here, he is your leader, sandwiched in the middle of these fast cars in the back straightaway at lap 230. The only other car in that lead lap for the moment is the Maxwell House car of Bobby Labonte, the rookie, having an outstanding day. This is Dale Jarrett's kind of race. If there's a guy that could do well at 600 miles, I would think it would be Jarrett, who one time said, I think that being a thinking driver will get you part of the way, but you've got to show them that you're not going to take anything out there, and I think that my stamina is one of my strong points, too, said this fellow Jarrett that currently is in command. 30 is off the pace. See Michael Waltrip falling back here.
Again, when he went down in turn 1, the car just shot up to the wall. He went right up against the wall in turn 2, and he just lost a lot of ground up there. I don't know what kind of problem he's got, but he's got it back up to speed again now.
Running in 9th position. Remember, he won out here in the 300 just a day ago, and you saw it here on TBS. There's your leader, Dale Jarrett. Rusty Wallace right behind him. Wallace, his hopes today, they've been badly smashed. He's running 2 laps down after he had an altercation with the turn 2 wall on the inside, going down the back straightaway. Here's the 6 and 25, and they're in their own contest at the moment, fighting for 6th position. That's a battle for 6. Martin has it. Schrader's trying to take it away. Well, do you think that Jarrett can hide out there and hold on to this thing? Can't believe that 233 of 400 laps complete, and we're not going to get another caution. But for the moment, he's got about a lap in this field.
He probably wouldn't mind if it started sprinkling a little bit right here, but they're showing Earnhardt and Elliott. Earnhardt 3rd, Elliott 4th, so good indication they went with that call.
Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Michael Waltrip has pitted. The key thing is, will he be able to get out before he loses a lap? That's not going to happen. The field is going by Michael Waltrip, a 4-tire change after that problem he suffered on the racetrack.
So Waltrip brings the Penzo car back onto the speedway, having lost a full lap. It remains Dale Jarrett in first and Bobby Labonte staying in second. What a run for a rookie. What a break for a rookie, Neil. Here's Johnny Hayes.
Yes, Ted Musgrave just came in the 55 car. He's sick, and they're bringing him in just to try to settle him down, see if they can find a relief driver. He is not feeling well.
U.S. Air car, remember it smacked the wall twice? There's Ted Musgrave. He's a strong runner. There's been a leak in the exhaust system or something that's knocked him out. Davey Allison in the 28. Currently, Davey Allison is being shown well back in the field. He's being shown in 12th position. Here's Randy.
Well, gentlemen, a little frantic in the pits down here, the Allison pits. Davey has developed a miss in the engine. They're under discussion at the present time as to what to do. Obviously, they're going to have to ride it out and wait to the caution. But don't be surprised if you see the hood go up on the 28 if we catch another caution here shortly.
What a bad break for Davey Allison, former champion of this event. So we'll follow that story along as the lights continue to glisten off these cars, getting up towards 7 o'clock Eastern here as you watch live the 600 at Charlotte. $1,200,000 at stake, and they are carrying. Let's go to Johnny Hayes right now on this Ted Musgrave story.
Ted Musgrave's very sick. He's under control. They just want to get some fluid in his body. Derek Cope is getting in his car to replace him. Everything looks fine. They just want to get him settled down, cool down.
What a bad break for Ted Musgrave, former ASA runner and a strong contender out of Franklin, Wisconsin. Won a lot of races in the ASA.
Ken, there's been a virus going through the garage. I've heard a bunch of drivers say they were sick, and it's like a 24-hour deal. And we've had a bunch of drivers and crew members had that the last couple of weeks, and hopefully that's all it is with Ted. Maybe it's nothing serious.
We certainly hope that is the case.
That's what's unique about this sport. You don't call timeout. When you get off, something's wrong, all you can do is pull over, stop, get somebody else to drive that thing, and it's a hard decision to make from inside that car. He drove it till it bounced off the wall, tried everything he could do.
32nd position to first for Dale Jarrett, the 500 Daytona champion, currently leading, and this is his 7th 600 start. And the man in second is the rookie, Bobby Labonte. He is having just an outstanding ride. Here he is around Phil Parsons in car number 41. Stayed out there just long enough to pick it up in that caution created by Musgrave, the 5th one of the day. And here you see Bobby Labonte continuing to roll, and for the moment he in second place has about at least 3/4 of a lap, 7/8 of a lap on everybody else here. This is his first start in the 600. The 1991 Busch Grand National champion in second position, only to this man, number 18, going by.
You know, we talked earlier, Ken, about that $100,000 bonus for Jarrett to win the race after winning the Daytona 500, and the circumstances have turned around. He's got a shot at it.
And a shot at $1 million come Labor Day in Darlington if he can pull this one off today. A lot at stake for the Joe Gibbs racing team. Another Super Bowl effort for Joe Gibbs and Dale Jarrett in number 18.
We're going to check the interval, Ken, and see the hookup between Earnhardt and Bill Elliott. They pulled out almost a straightaway on the 18. We're going to see how long it's going to take if they can pull around and catch it.
Steel, makers of world famous Steel chainsaws, string trimmers, and other outdoor equipment, providing these great aerial shots of tonight's Coca-Cola 600. Dale Jarrett, whose best finish in this event was 5th in 1991, now leads in the Coca-Cola 600. 29-year-old Bobby Labonte in his first 600 is running in second place. Third is Dale Earnhardt, twice a champion. Maintaining 4th at the present time, Bill Elliott still trying to win his first 600. And going 5th at the present time is Ernie Irvan. Started 19th on the day. Now there's the battle that's taking place for 3rd spot. Earnhardt is there, and Elliott, who's had a sour season to date in 93, holding on to 4th and still closing ground. And these two cars have gained about 1/4 of a lap on Bobby Labonte in first and Dale Jarrett, on Dale Jarrett in first and Bobby Labonte in second.
They've been picking up about, let's watch the interview. We just saw him go out of the shot. Way back down here, there's the green nose car right there. The green car is the 18 car of Jarreth. They put about a straightaway on him in about 15 laps.
Remember, on that restart, he was flush right up against the back bumper of those cars. So they are drawing away. Bobby Labonte stays in that second position. And of course, this field looking for a caution somehow to let them gather those two leaders back up and go for it. What's the temperature right now? It's down to 80 degrees. And remember, we started 10 degrees warmer when the race started at 4:30. Temperature fluctuation means
speed. When it starts going down, the track gets faster and faster. The surface cools, along with the cool air going in that carburetor, really increases the power on these cars. The cooler gets, the more the motors are going to work.
What about the control on these cars?
I'll tell you what, Ken, these guys have got them pretty close. They've been bumping them around a little bit on every start. They've got them to where they feel better. The cooler it gets, the better the car drives. So I think the quality of the racing might even improve. You'll see them race a little harder in the corner than they are right now.
Davey Allison is running a lap down in car number 28. Randy Pemberton has more on the story.
Gentlemen, his problems continue to grow. There was a miss in the engine. Davey switched coils, which he can do from inside the cockpit. He also switched ignition boxes. He said the problem's getting worse. He thought maybe we have dropped a valve. Crew Chief Larry McReynolds said, well, when we get a caution, maybe we can change the fuel filter. So they've got a carburetor out here now, so there's no telling what this team might do under the next caution flag. But he is not having a good time of it right now.
Randy, that's kind of problems that a crew hates to see. When one misses or flutters or pops, that's the hardest thing to fix. When one of these motors usually gives trouble, you just raise the hood, snatch it out, and do another one. But during the course of the race, you've got to fix those problems. Usually when they miss like this, you just pull it out and stick another one in. So it's going to be hard for these guys to fix this. Just looking for the problems is the biggest thing, trying to decide which thing's wrong with it.
Davey Allison backing to 14th position, back with the leader, coming up on Morgan Shepherd's number 21. Dale Jarrett having a pretty good year, having won that first big race. Why is this year so much different from last, not only for you, but for other teams as well, Dale?
It's been kind of crazy. I think you had to expect that Earnhardt and them were going to come back. I think the addition of Andy Petrie has helped them a lot. Andy's good. I started out with Andy, and I know how he's progressed, and he's a good crew chief there. And I think he's helped them a lot. You know they weren't going to be down long. Rusty and those guys, there's too much talent there for that not to come together. Yeah, but the thing that buffaloes you is why somebody like Bill Elliott and them, that you know the guy's a great race driver, and Mike Beam's capable there on the chassis, but it's just not clicking right now. We're pretty happy where we are. Things have gone well for us. When we've been able to finish sixth is worse than we finished. It's just some of those other incidents that we've gotten into. So if we can continue to run like we are with that consistency, I think we can hang around the top five, and that would be good for us, and get to some tracks to where we can pick up another win or so.
6 in points behind Bodine, and he's showing some consistency today as we get to lap 254 this time around. 381 miles complete right here for Dale Jarrett, continuing to lead. And this will give you an idea, an interval back to Bobby Labonte in that number 22 car that's running in second spot. Bobby backing up. There you see him coming through from that leader. But having an excellent run for a rookie. This is the best we've seen a rookie run here in years in this race.
He's got a good run going there. Tim Brewer made the call on that thing to stay out for fuel, stay out. Tim has always had the ability to really stretch cars like this, and it really paid off on him. Got him right in the hunt now.
Oh boy, he had a wild ride at Talladega. His brother Terry landed right on top of him in that 11-car scramble on lap 130. They were both very, very lucky. His brother got a nod on the head after that Kellogg's car landed squarely on top of number 22. But Bobby's having a great day of it at the present time, staying second. Well into the second half of the race, bearing down on 300 laps complete. Up 28, Davey Allison slowing down some more, way off the pace.
Yeah, look at the tailpipes on the left side. It's blowing just black soot out the tailpipes. That's either the ignition system or the fuel, like they were talking about. It looks like it's burning pine knots right there, just solid black. These cars burn a crisp, gray-looking fume out the side when they run right. That's just soot coming out of that car. He's got a big problem. He's going to quit running on. He's got to come in.
So Davey Allison falling back in car number 28, the 1991 600 winner. He's not going to get a shot at it today. We are talking as you watch the 3-car here for a moment, and Elliott, that's third and fourth. We were talking about the Dale Jarrett story down at Daytona. There is Earnhardt in third, and right behind him comes Bill Elliott in fourth. His daughter goes back to preschool on Tuesday. You know, he's won the biggest race, the 500, and so the teacher, trying to help things along, said Natalie's gone down to Florida, and she has something very special to tell the class. At which point Natalie stood up and said, "My daddy and mother took me to Disney."
He was second in the rankings.
Second in the ratings. Great family, those Jarretts, and a great driver out there right now trying to hold on to this thing. Hot time down there on Davey Allison's car. More on that story in a moment.
Well, there are a lot of ways to watch the action here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. One of them is by hot air balloon, but we're bringing it to you live today on TBS Sports. Great to have you with us. Back here at the SDP Pitt Communications Center, let's take a look at some of the upcoming events on our schedule here on TBS for the balance of the season. July 18th, we'll be making our first trip to Pocono International Raceway in Pennsylvania. Beautiful tri-oval there for the Miller Genuine Draft 500. September 11th, our traditional Saturday night date at Richmond Fairgrounds at the Richmond International Raceway, the Miller Genuine Draft 400. Right back here at Charlotte Motor Speedway in October for the Mellow Yellow 500. Hope you'll be with us here on TBS for those great events coming up later this season. We were hearing reports earlier that there were troubles for Ernie Irvan in the Kodak number 4, but Irvan seems to be at full song, gentlemen, down the backstretch.
Indeed he is, and he's closing in on Bill Elliott. That's Irvan back there in the 4-car running in 5th, and Bill Elliott just barely in front of him.
The lap before, the 4 was completely up beside him. Here they come off turn 4. Irvan running that bottom line. Elliott's up here in a land of his own on that top. He's been running top of the racetrack all day.
Mark Martin was behind him in 6th, Raiders in 7th, Jimmy Spencer in 8th, Bodine in 9th. 8 cars are now shown in the lead lap, Neil. Spencer in the Bobby Allison car, the last car in the lead lap.
There's Elliott with a 4-car of Irvan right behind him. Ernie's been picking away at him. He was a good way back, closed in, tried him a couple laps, couldn't get by.
265 laps now complete.
Seems like whenever a driver, just like Irvan in the 4-car, he pulled up there and tried Elliott. About 2 laps, he couldn't do it. Then he dropped back a good distance. Like it really heated his tires up to try to drive under him. He's having to wait on it a little bit now before he can go back after him again. You really see how much darker it's getting now. You see the lights all over the cars. Starting to settle in here a little bit. Track really cooling down. That 4-car is running totally under the white lights of 3 and 4.
Derek Cope, who had been driving for Cale Yarborough in car number 98, has taken over in the Musgrave car. They are back on the track, and they're being shown, let's see, the 55 car being shown in 32nd, Neil?
Yeah, and he's 19 laps down, so they lost a lot of time. They had to wait to find a driver to put in there. He was so bad, they had to just set him out and wait till the driver could come down and get in the car. And that rule is, Ken, the rule on that deal. Here's Irvan trying Elliott again on the inside. We'll get back to what the ruling is on the relief driver. Looks like the 4-car is going to clear Elliott this time.
For 4th position.
Ken, the reason you have to wait for a driver, the only driver that can relieve is a driver that has practiced or made prior laps on the track this week. So they had to wait till someone that has been in the race fell out and then get them to drive the car.
Ernie Irvan pulls up, takes 4th position. Bill Elliott falls back into 5th. Dale Jarrett stays in command of the race. Ernie Irvan, what kind of changes do you expect in the track in this 600?
It doesn't change a lot from, say, 4 o'clock till about 8 o'clock. So that's the time we're racing. So I don't think the track's going to change that much. However you start the race, it's probably going to stay the same.
Well, it's changed some, and it's all been changed by temperature, and it seems to be in Irvan's favor, Neil.
Yeah, it seems to be coming to him. He had a loose condition early, and that's what this kind of cool weather likes. It tightens the car by itself. Cooler gets, the better a loose car, race car work will come to it.
270 miles are complete. We're past the 400-mile mark. That's 405 miles complete.
We just saw the 9 car of Chad Lowe go out of the race. Look at the windshield on Harry Gant. I can't help but think maybe that's what flew out. There's a big hole knocked in the windshield directly in front of Gant. It was hard to tell if it went all the way inside the car. If it did, it got close to Harry because it's right in front of him. We'll get a shot up this back straightaway. We can get a little bit better line of it here and see what it looks like.
Running in 16th position, a couple of laps down is Gant. Not having a good year. He's off about 29th in points as he comes into this 600. Take a look at that bullet hole there.
Well, I'll tell you something big hit that thing. They've got Lexan in these cars. They put the regular glass windshields from the manufacturer, or you can put this glass Lexan one just like in a fighter jet. It's about 3/8 of an inch thick, and you can shoot a rifle into it. I don't know if he's got that backed up with it or not. You can run one behind it or use it totally with the Lexan. I'm not sure which one Harry has in.
When you get that windshield hit, you really know it, you really hear it, and all that noise.
Oh yeah, that takes a pretty good use. I guarantee you can hit that with a sledgehammer. If that's that Lexan type, you can't do that kind of damage with a sledgehammer. It's hard to tell which one he has in, but it's shattered pretty bad.
There's the leader, Dale Jarrett. Almost in a world of his own, at least a lap of his own. He and Bobby Labonte sharing that command at the present time. Davey Allison has come back on the track after some needed repairs, running 16 laps down. Davey Allison very slow on the inside.
You know, we saw that was his air cleaner that was on fire. They were throwing it off just as we went to break a while ago. Had a fire on the carburetor. Doesn't seem to be getting up to speed. You know, you were talking a while ago, can you hear that hit the windshield? Let one of these Major League Baseball pitchers throw you a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, hit the windshield. You can hear it, or double that, close to 200 miles an hour when something hits that windshield. It's a pretty good jolt.
Davey Allison again for pit road. Unfortunate day for a former 600 winner. Great moment right now for Dale Jarrett and Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs has said that if we pick the right people, we will make this team go. And go it has done this year. Davey Allison has gone back to the garage another time.
Hey, who better to pick people than Joe Gibbs? They'll tell you that's his strong suit, working with people, getting the best out of them. And I'd never met him, and you walk up to the guy, and it reminded me of the first time I ever met Bear Bryant. You know, you're just amazed to walk around the personality those type people have. Joe Gibbs, probably one of the nicest guys in that garage area. Really easy to get along with.
And that's his car that's out in front. Meanwhile, the car that runs in second place is the number 22. The Bill Davis-owned car in second spot. Here's Randy Pemberton with more.
Tim Brewer sitting here on the wall. Of course, Jeff Gordon has gotten most of the limelight this year. Jeff's gotten most of the limelight, but you guys are going to steal a little today, I think.
Well, you know, it's just one of those deals. We're just going through our routine, running out our pit strategy like we feel we need to. Some of those other guys might have been just a little bit conservative stopping early, but, you know, it's just like anything else at 600 miles. It's going to be a long day. You know, the Maxwell House Ford's coming along real well, so Bobby's just sitting there biding his time, putting laps on the board right now.
Are you coaching him at all?
We just give him his lap times, make suggestions as to how the car can change throughout the day, what we can do to combat some of that. But right now, Bobby, he's doing a great job.
I guess he is. His best finish in Winston Cup racing was 12th at Martinsville earlier this year. This first start on the 600 has seen him for the last 25 or 30 laps right up here in second spot. Bobby Labonte out of Corpus Christi, Texas. 29 years old, having a dandy day in the 600. Let's go back to the 6 and 11 car for a moment. Here's Mark Martin challenging Bill Elliott for 5th position. Those Fords at it another time, and teammate Hut Strickland of Bill Elliott just in front of them, laps down on the inside. Mark Martin motors right down to the bottom of the track. Paces his way through on the bottom of the banking and runs even as they come down into the start-finish line area another time.
Coming up on a lot of lap traffic right in front of them. They're going to have, one of them's going to have to make the pass because a lot of cars on the inside.
Take us around as we watch these two cars. How do you want to drive this racetrack? Let's take them off the backside as we watch them even here.
Ken down this back straightaway. Ideal right out against the wall. Elliott's right out there by the wall. Drive it up right into the bank. Just force the car into that banking. It really gets a good bite right back in the throttle. This is one of the few racetracks you're out just a split second, open it wide open. Just barely miss the wall coming off that first dog leg down through the start-finish line. The key here, one of them is getting off of this wall right here. From the wall, drive it right down over this hill and stick it on the side of the racetrack. The car almost feels like it's going to get out from under you, then it hits that banking and it straightens back up. A lot of banking on this track, and it sure feels good when you hit it.
So that's how you get around at over 160 miles an hour. This mile and a half is as you watch Bill Elliott and Mark Martin fight for fifth in the 34th annual Coca-Cola 600 from Charlotte, North Carolina. It's live this evening here on TBS. Ought to be a dramatic finish. Stay with us. Coming around a complete 284 laps, 426 miles, as Dale Jarrett continues to lead in the Coca-Cola 600. Story on Davey Allison. Here's Johnny Hayes.
Ken, Davey Allison developed a miss about the 200 lap mark. All of a sudden, it just got worse and worse. They're down here pulling the valve covers off to see if it can be fixed or if it's terminal. You can see everybody's jumping around, doing everything they can.
We're also concerned about the condition of Ted Musgrave, the driver of the number 55, the Jasper Engines car. That car on the track now with Derek Cope as a relief driver. They took Ted out of the car 30 or 40 laps ago. He wasn't feeling well. He's still in the infield care center. They're giving him some oxygen and some fluids, but they say he's doing fine. He walked into the care center, so we expect to see Ted Musgrave out of that building in a very near time. They are going to keep him in there for observation for the next little bit.
Meanwhile, we've seen Greg Sachs making a pit stop. Harry Gant has come in and gone back out again. And we're watching Jimmy Spencer as well in the Bobby Allison car come onto pit road.
And the 3 cars turning down right now. Schrader came in just before him. Earnhardt came in. He's coming in awful slow this time. They got him on that penalty deal, charging 15 seconds. He's not going to speed this time, I promise.
He had been running in 3rd spot.
So that puts him a lap down. The 18 is staying on the track.
Let's go to the 3 pits.
Well, Danny Chocolate Myers with a gas can going in right side. Andy Petrie on the right front. And, Will Lynn on the right rear. Right rear a little bit slow. Jack comes around. David Smith with a car. 2 pumps. The GM Goodwrench Chevy is up. Looks like a pretty good stop so far. Earnhardt gets a drink. He's down.
And as he pits the 4th place car, Ernie Irvin comes on the pit road and Mark Martin. Both cars 4 and 6 on pit road at the same time. This at lap 287 under green. 2nd full green stop in the race. This is where Jarrett got his big break.
Yeah, this is what they got to be concerned with too. You know, they hate to come in first because it could happen to them again. The caution comes out after they make this stop, but they've got to work on their sequences. They've got to come in when they have to.
With these pit stops, we're now seeing Jarrett, Labonte, Irvin, Elliott, and Martin being shown in the lead lap. This will take Martin out of that sequence as he brings number 6 back out. Irvin's coming back on the track as well.
11 cars on pit road also, Ken. All the leaders, all the guys, I keep saying all the leaders, the 18 and the 22 are going to be able to go further than the rest of the guys. They're still out there.
So if they should get another caution at this point, and we've gone a whale of a distance without one, we've had 5 cautions to date, 21 lead changes among 9 drivers. If one should fall now, it all works in Dale Jarrett and Joe Gibbs' favor. And what a time for a rookie in this race, running in 2nd spot.
Ken, let's go down to Johnny Hayes again.
Yes, we're down with Terry Labonte's car. He's pulled it in and parked it. As you can see, there's smoke coming out of the tailpipes. He lost a motor. He just got out of the car and went in and dressed.
That's a sadness for those folks. You can see Pete Wright sitting just in the back of the transporter there. They really gave it a shot.
Looked like steam coming out. He said he ran hot earlier. Looked like steam coming out of that tailpipe. Probably got the thing hot. A little head gasket or something.
Take a look at Ernie Irvin wheeling around here, trying to get back in the lap. Gets himself back up in the lap with the leader. Is he just on the tail end?
They were. I think that they were actually 2 down after that stop. So that put him 1. That put him back to 1. And if the 18 car does pit, it'll put him back in the right sequence. The key to this whole thing is the 22 or the 18 pit.
Here's Waltrip in and out. So there's a lot of separation on the front of this field, all in favor of Dale Jarrett and rookie Bobby Labonte, as we're watching Jeff Bodine, who won his last Winston Cup race, going for a 4-tire change, this at lap 291. Boy, things have really turned around for this team since Travis Carter came on board.
Yeah, Gavin really did a good job with them. They've been winning races. Bodine doing a good job.
Here's Kyle Petty coming out of pit road. Not their day. They'll have their day. That is a strong team and only getting stronger.
You know, last year they were one of the strongest cars in this racetrack. In the Winston week last week, this week, they just cannot get that car up to speed, and they really don't know why.
Dale Jarrett is coming on the pit road right now, ready to make his stop. Let's go there.
He is coming in earlier than he had planned. He wanted to go another 3 laps, Ken, but he didn't make it. The car ran out of gas. It has just stalled on pit road. The engine has died on the leader's car. Jarrett trying to fire the motor. It coughs, it tries, it fires, it quits. The crew changing tires on the left side. Jarrett's engine is still. They're looking for the can of ether. They're going to push him off. The leader's car just fires. He is off a bad pit stop. 24:19 on the leader.
We had it at 22.6, but it was BAD any way you spell it.
That's right, the guy, the key. Here comes Labonte. I was just saying, he's the guy. No, he's not turned in yet. The 22 car is still on the racetrack, so he should be leading the race.
Rookie leading the event at lap 292. How about that? Bobby Labonte, younger brother of Terry Labonte, is in command of the Coca-Cola 600. What a story this would be. You would think that Jarrett can put this back together. For the moment, it's Bobby Labonte's race. Wonder how long he intends to stay out. We'll be in his pit when he comes in. The third place car unofficially is being shown as number 41, Phil Parsons. There's Morgan Shepherd on pit road.
Yep, good stop. The Wood brothers, they do a good job on these pit stops. Glenn Wood broke his elbow, so they got someone else working on that part of the car right there.
We should point out again, Neil, that the record for 600 miles went way back to 1975 when Richard Petty got it done at 145.327. And even after 5 caution periods today, they're over the record at 147.2.
Here comes Labonte. He's turning down pit road. The 22 car is coming in. He was the people we were concerned about. You know, he's going to be the one that makes the call.
Leader is in. And this will give the lead back as Parsons has pitted to Dale Jarrett. Here's Randy Pembert.
Well, the 22 crew is going to work on the Maxwell House Coffee Ford right now. 1 can of gas is up. Jeff Gordon elected to stay out, trying to catch a caution, hoping to stay out 1 more lap because Labonte was the leader. They're already around to the left-hand side. Bill Davis, of course, on the jack. He is the car owner. Gordon coming down pit road. Not a bad pit stop. Left rear, a little trouble. He's down and away. Gordon is in.
22.8, which is about the same as Jarrett had, and now Jeff Gordon, third place car, is on pit road. He's being shown as a lap down.
A little bit of trouble right rear. I don't think he got the wheel on. No, he didn't. They dropped the car before he got the wheel on. They had to take the jack back around it. He was having a little bit of trouble with that left rear, and they had to jack it back up.
Randy?
Another air wrench over on the left-hand side with the trouble in the left rear. There's like 3 air wrenches over here. One has come back across the wall. They have finally gotten the left side up. Oh, it's devastating in here for the Gordon pit. He wanted to get back on the lead lap, and after 1 lap, he finally came down pit road. Didn't get back on the lead lap, but he's down and away. That was a tough pit stop today.
Better than 27 on that one for Jeff Gordon. Unfortunate stop, his first start at the 600, but doing well. So we have 297 laps complete. We have some cars that had just coming in now. That'll clear pit road among all the leaders, however. All those cars that have been contending up in front have made their stop. And let's see, there's a couple of other, I think this might be Michael Waltrip making his way onto pit road. Remember, Michael's had some trouble today. He's running down. He is off the pace at the present time as he brings in the Pennzoil number 30. Showing in 12th position, Michael Waltrip. As he makes his stop, they go for a 4-tire change. Another pit stop, get them pretty close to the finish of this one, Neil.
Yeah, they're going to have to do 1 more. There's no way they can make it to 1 more, and they should be able to go the distance.
So stay with us. It's turning out to be quite a mystery, and it's Dale Jarrett's to solve, Earnhardt's to resolve. We'll see.
Hey, racing fans, Budweiser asks, who won? March the 8th, 1987, Richmond Fairgrounds Raceway. The 7-car, driven by the late Alan Kulwicki, starts from the pole in this 400-lap car cruncher. Dale Earnhardt starts the 3 right alongside. By the 8th lap, Earnhardt tries to make a move on Kulwicki, but they come together. The Intimidator spins and has to drop back to the rear of the field. While Dale's busy working his way back up through the pack, Alan leads the next 57 laps until Harry Gant of the 33 car moves by and takes over the top spot. Bill Elliott also had a strong short track showing going, as well as Bobby Allison. But who won? Here's a list of drivers to jog your memory. We'll be back with the answer after this. Well, if you chose Dale Earnhardt, you're right. Here's what happened at Richmond. By the 127th lap, Earnhardt had worked his way back up to third position behind Harry Gant. And the leader, Bobby Allison. Allison had a good long run at the front. Going into turn 3, though, Earnhardt will try to dive under Gant to take away the position. They bump. Earnhardt continues his run to the front, but the spin knocks a fuming Gant from contention. Later, Bill Elliott having perhaps his best short track run ever, and the battered Earnhardt machine staged an epic side-by-side duel. Elliott, though, couldn't keep up, finally dropping back to a fourth-place finish. Earnhardt breaks away to score his 22nd career Winston Cup victory. Who Won is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. With that clean, crisp, cold taste, nothing beats a Bud.
Well, we're back here in the Dale Earnhardt pit. You're looking at a computer screen which is online with NASCAR scoring. Several of the teams have them, and particularly after a pit stop, they all flurry around this screen to decide and find out exactly where they're running. You can see Dale Jarrett up front, lap 304, Earnhardt down to 304. That's how many laps they're at. Now there's another computer in this pit as well, which just about everyone has. You come around here, this gentleman up here, he is working on fuel mileage as well as keeping times to where Earnhardt is and the leader is. And that's where they tell Dale either to pick it up or you're okay. But that's the computer system in pits. Just about everybody has both of them.
Well, let's see the interval now between first and seconds. With persistence and patience, Dale Jarrett is in command of this 600. Now look back as you see the cars coming through the fourth corner here to what the distance actually is between Earnhardt as you visualize it and the man in second spot, Dale Earnhardt. There he is, and that's a big distance, but the way he's been running, what do you think, Neil? Can he catch him up?
Well, he's whittling away at it. While it goes a quarter lap. It's less than half a lap right now. He's cut it down to about half the distance it was when that caution flag thing occurred. So he's been working on it. The question is, does he have enough time?
Now, about 2.5 seconds behind the number 3 car is Ernie Irvan in third. Mark Martin is in fourth. Bobby Labonte is in fifth. Bill Elliott is in sixth, and Schrader is in seventh. And those 7 are reported in the same lap. 1 lap down in 8th is Bodine, with 9th Phil Parsons, and 10th going to the 12th of Jimmy Spencer, Darrell Waltrip 11th, Jimmy Hensley 12th, and Jeff Gordon 13th. They're all shown as 1 lap down.
Ken, I just got the interval. Earnhardt is 15 seconds behind Jarrett, so he's less than a half a lap back, and he's knocking off almost a quarter a second a lap, so he's coming, but he's got a long way to go.
Getting a look at those Napa standings after they completed 300 laps out here. Look at Jarrett darting around this racetrack. Boy, this will be something if he wins this and gets himself a step up toward that $1 million payoff if he could win in Darlington on Labor Day. Boy, that would be something.
You're not going to ask me more questions. I'm fixing to eat the ice cream. This is a long race. I couldn't do it in a race car, but I can do it up here. You got to carry it, Ken.
Well, there you see the 18 out in front. Let's just check some cars back through the field while Neil enjoys his ice cream. That second car directly behind him is the 30, and that is the guy that won it yesterday, Michael Waltrip, running 19th on the field. A grand national victory here. Sensational battle with Ernie Irvan right down to the wire, and then came through to take the checkers. Michael's planning to get married in November, and he certainly took care of any honeymoon expenses with that ride he took yesterday. Taking a little further gander back through the field. There you see Horton in the number 32 running back in the field, and this is a guy we keep talking about as one you'll see for the future. He's shown as 9 laps down. Jimmy Horton running in 32nd at the present time. Let me change that to 28th. It is 28th that he is running in the active trucking car. 45 car giving itself a pretty good run today, staying out here, and staying out here is one of the big things. Rich Bickle, who is running in 24th on the field. He is being shown as 6 laps down at the present time, and going around him is Dick Trickle in the 75. Dick Trickle back with Raymark this year. What's that say? Factory store? He's got himself some sort of fancy sponsor. Huh? Take a look back behind him, and there you see Bodine in the 15. He's up in 8th place. Jeff, now the owner of the Kowicki team. He has Jimmy Hensley driving that car. He's going up underneath that 45 of Rich Bickle as they come off turn 4 and down the main chute. So Bodine gets what he's been talking about for several years, and that is a team of his own next year. And there is the car that just seems to slide through this race and you never see enough, and that is that Phil Parsons car. Slid through in qualifying, had a tremendous qualifying run, did Phil Parsons. And this afternoon, here he is, back to 9th position, looking very strong.
Ken, we even saw earlier in the race, he was right with the leaders. He got a lap down, but he was able to race with Earnhardt, a bunch of leaders up front.
Not a good day for Hut Strickland in the 27 further back. He is shown in 22nd position, 5 laps from the leaders, and trouble came to him on almost, the first 5 laps he was down, and it hasn't been able to recover in the McDonald's car. Take a look at number 66 here. Now, this is an interesting story. That's the Phillips in-car camera car of Mike Wallace, a Duron car. And they've been having a pretty good run of it today here as well. And Mike Wallace, as you know, is that 3rd brother, Mike of the Wallace family from Missouri, being shown in 26th position. Likeable guy, does a lot of public service work for automobile racing and has the time to do it. He puts a lot of extra energy into it. Of course, his brother Kenny wants to be a announcer, and he probably will get it done before he gets done. He'll do a job. Now take a look at the 12 car. Here is Jimmy Spencer in that Meineke machine, running right with Rick Wilson in the 44. Spencer for Bobby Allison has pulled that car up into the 10th position. He's being shown as 1 lap down. That 44, if you're just joining us, had trouble out of turn 4, came down sideways, cut across the inside. It's back out there and looking very good at the present time and running in the 17th position. Why does scoring have that as 42 and we have it as 44 out there?
Just to keep us entertained.
Just to keep us entertained? All right. While Neil finishes his ice cream and we watch the car number 90, Bobby Hillen continuing to strut his stuff at 16th position. We'll take this break. .320 of 400 laps complete here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, where it's still Dale Jarrett out in front of 162,000 racing fans for the 5th time a sellout. And among the honored guests here to see this event today, the former National Press Secretary Jim Brady. Pete Postilio, the Executive Vice President, Corporate Relations from the Ford Company. There on the right, on the left, John Erickson, Marketing Manager for Pontiac. And also there you see Martin Foyle, the Vice Chairman for the National Head Injury Foundation. Jim Brady received a check today for $5,000 from the Ford and Pontiac people, putting up prize money in a charity shootout to benefit the National Head Injury Foundation. Jim Brady's been here several times to enjoy the races, gets a big kick out of it. Mike Wallace is driving that Duron paint car, and the Pontiac group. And Jimmy Means had the Ford out here. Jimmy Means' car fell out, and so in Mike Wallace's name, that $5,000 will be given that Mr. Brady is holding to the National Head Injury Foundation. Well, Brady likes to come to Charlotte, and he really enjoys stock car racing. Gets a kick out of these people, as a lot of us do.
Tell you what, I'm watching Dale Jarrett run right here. He's running good, consistent laps. Earnhardt is running second. He's picking away at it, but Jarrett's not giving it up in big chunks. He's real consistent. He knows he's got, we're looking at about 80 laps to go in this race with a pit stop thrown in also. So Jarrett's just got to be content and sit there and click off good lap after lap, just not give away big chunks of the lead.
First to second is now 14 4/10 of a second. As it gets cooler, Earnhardt is the man that is really getting faster.
Yeah, it takes 32 seconds to go around this racetrack, so you can see it's well under a half a lap.
Here's Earnhardt going into 1, as going into turn 3 is the leader, Jarrett. And remember, they are in the same lap.
Guys, you've noticed that Earnhardt has been running behind Greg Sachs for a few laps there. He's having a little trouble getting around him. One of the reasons is he radioed in, he said this set of tires just a little bit off, it's just a little loose. Maybe the next set will be better. Neil, you might be able to comment on the fact that these tires, they all come out of a mold, but every one of them is just a little bit different. And when they put a combination together, sometimes they're just not right.
Randy, that's the way it goes. You know, when we had the bi-supply tire, there was a bigger gap from set to set to set. You used to say I get a good set or a bad set. With a radial set, it'd be maybe just a tick of difference, but not as much as we used to have to deal with the bi-supply tires. They're a little different, but they're a lot more consistent than the old bias tires.
There you see Earnhardt in that number 3 car. Again, 15 seconds down to the leader, still trying to move around. Greg Sachs, who had that one victory at Daytona on the 4th of July a few years ago, took over after Bobby Hamilton was released by the Country Time team. And here's Earnhardt still trying to dispatch him. That is a lap car that Sachs is currently chauffeuring in 16th spot. Earnhardt, the second place man, and it is Ernie Irvan back there in 3rd, and you can see Irvan closing up a little, and ooh, he almost got taken there. Mike Wallace moved up on him a little. Oh, Greg Sachs getting tagged. He comes right in front of car number 3, and moving by is car number 4. Ernie Irvan got through it. Hard on the brakes was Dale Earnhardt, who brings out a caution here. What do you think of that one, Bonnet?
Well, I tell you, they right up behind him, got into it. They got together coming off turn 4, give him a little shove, turned around right there.
Now, this is an interesting situation. The flag is out, right, for the car that spun, which is Sachs. The leader by 15 seconds was Jarrett, but after a caution, this should bring Earnhardt, who tapped the 68 right up on his rear bumper. Let's see what NASCAR is going to do here. Take another look at what happened up here in turn 4, folks. You see first that Ernie Irvan incident as Mike Wallace came up a bit, and here comes Earnhardt. He's been trying for 6 laps to deal with Sachs. Just gets a little piece of the back end. Around comes Sachs directly down in front of Earnhardt. Whoa, on the bridle there. Slows her down, does not make contact, but caution is out. This at lap 328. It happened in lap 327.
Boy, Sachs did a good job not to get hit right there. When he went back across track, had turned in the grass.
So we're under caution. This is the 6th time today. Back with more of the fireworks here at Charlotte in a moment. 1 lap penalty on Earnhardt. Let's go to Randy, who's down there in his pit.
Well, this team is absolutely irate. Earnhardt came over the radio, guys. He said he never touched him. So I don't know what the camera can see from there, but Earnhardt swears he never touched him. Now, we talked a bit about whether or not they can go the distance. Earnhardt's obviously going to lose a lap here. Here goes the caution car. The first one is by him. As far as guys being able to go the distance, the 4 car thinks they can. Now, we got to wait and see if Earnhardt can get back out front here on a restart and catch a caution to be back in contention. But Earnhardt is definitely upset.
And so is Richard Childress. You can see him standing down there, and now they're signaling for the Earnhardt car to come forth after it has been penalized 1 lap for an altercation with Greg Sachs in turn 4. Let's take a look again at what happened up here in turn 4 for that 1 lap penalty. Judge for yourself. For myself, it looks like you got a piece of him there.
Yep, it's hard to tell. He's so close right there. It was awful close. If he didn't hit him, he was up under.
Doesn't show any mark on the back that I can see, but it sure looked like it got squirreled sideways as it came out of 4. Lucky that it didn't collect the 3 cars. It spun back across the track. But it's a 1 lap penalty that has been assessed by the NASCAR officials on Earnhardt here in the 300 as he tries for his 3rd, in the 600 as he tries for his 3rd win. Take another look. Let's take another look. Neil, want to back it up a little?
Let's back it up and see if we can tell. We'll get them to run the tape back. That was a little bit different angle than we had before. We're going to get it up on the tape machine as quick as we can. NASCAR wants to take a look at it also. Here they are right here, real close, real close. Right behind the hospital, right there when you need to see what's going on. It's hard to tell. I mean, it wouldn't be the first car's turning around because somebody got up close to it because of the air, but what NASCAR's wanting to see was their contact right there. We're going to roll it up. We're going to try to get it up there real close and stop and see if we can tell. Boy, it's so hard to tell.
Come forward about another foot or two here.
I think their contention was that, you know, he just got up so close he got him loose, but that's
and
strictly
didn't
hard to
touch him.
tell. I'm telling you.
That well could be the story.
It's hard to tell.
Let's go down to the pits once again for more on this story.
Well, Richard's talking to Dale right now. Now they're saying he's in a lead lap. Lynn just came over. NASCAR official comes over, talking to Childress. They're going to scoot Earnhardt up on the inside, I believe. Now they're saying he might possibly be on the lead lap. What are they saying, Richard?
Do what?
What are they saying?
Well, they just said that rough driving, Dale hit him. You know, you're out there racing. Everybody's getting loose. You know, you got 40, 50 laps on your tires. Somebody gets a little loose and you touch them. That's just racing. You know, what can you say? We just got to try to win the race. I think we can still win it.
Are you a lap down?
Yeah.
498 miles have been completed in the 600-mile race. So it gets down to a 100-lap shootout, and Earnhardt has got to cinch it up and run harder than he has all day. And this in the last 100 miles after he's penalized one lap in an incident with Greg Sachs in turn 4. We'll be back with more of the story of the 600 shortly, where it's still Dale Jarrett in first, Mark Martin right there with him in second, and Bobby Labonte third.
Welcome back to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Less than 100 miles to go today at the Coca-Cola 600. Great to have you with us here on TBS as we watch Mark Martin getting his fuel tank topped off. Less than 100 miles to go now. We're at lap 334, so all these drivers will be able to make it the rest of the way on what they have in their automobiles. It'll be a shootout to the end. The big question, can Dale Jarrett hang on? The other big question, can Dale Earnhardt make up the lap that he just lost due to that penalty for alleged rough riding as he got up underneath Greg Sachs coming out of turn 4? Lots of stories to watch here in the last 100 miles, gentlemen.
Coming in atop his tank, Rick, was Dale Jarrett. And now at the last moment, you saw Mark Martin come in and do the very same, several others making that last stab at it. Bodine gave it a try as well to get some extra fuel, make sure he was secure in the run for the finish. Coming down for a green flag with 3:33 of 400 laps complete in the $1 million Coca-Cola 600 today at Charlotte.
We got Bobby Labonte on the outside front row up there. He's leading the race with Earnhardt on the inside. They'll be battling to get this lap back right here.
Bobby Labonte in 22 is the leader as they come down. Labonte up in front, and Jarrett, as everybody wanted to get fuel, will be in second. Let's see if Earnhardt makes the immediate run, come around Bobby Labonte and get back in that lead lap. There you see Earnhardt penalized coming up on the outside of Bobby Labonte and making a run for it. Jimmy Spencer, a lap down, is coming as well in car number 12. And Spencer is back in the lead lap. So Earnhardt and Jimmy Spencer are back in the lead lap as they come around to complete 3:35 this time. Battle for the lead right behind them. That's 18 and 22. And it's Jarrett back in front of Bobby Labonte for first place.
Jarrett went around the outside of Labonte, took the lead.
Now Ken Schrader is being shown third after these pit stops in the lead lap. He's falling back a bit. With him comes number 11, Bill Elliott, and 4, Ernie Irvin. You see Schrader nestling right up on the rear bumper now of car number 24. 24 is being shown a lap down. Gordon is in 9th spot.
And that came, the 24 went down when he had that problem on that pit stop as we were watching. He got behind. He has been able to make it up. Schrader is showing in 3rd place, but he's got the 24 car between him.
First, number 18, Jarrett. Labonte in second, and breaking away down the backstretch, Earnhardt trying to get some distance from that leader and praying for another caution to let him collect the front of the field. There are 8 cars running in the lead lap. Jarrett, Labonte, Schrader, Elliott, Irvin, Martin, Earnhardt, and Spencer are in the lead lap. There you see Earnhardt and Spencer on the tail end of that lead lap. Just barely in the lead lap. as we run lap 339 at the present time. They have enough fuel to go the distance. The drama will be if there is another caution or how hard Earnhardt can run. Here's Mark Martin in the number 6 car. He's back in 6. He gets up underneath Sterling Marlin in the 8. Marlin is shown 8 laps down in the 26 spot. Mark Martin is looking for Ernie Irvan in number 4.
See Martin get under. Mark got some open territory with him. There's Bodine right behind Martin.
For the moment, Jarrett to win it. Take a step up towards $1 million. What will it mean for the head man on the team? Let's find out right now in the Jarrett pits.
And we'll ask the coach, can your driver hang on and beat these guys, Joe?
That's a tough assignment, I'll tell you that, but we're going to take our shot. We think we can go.
Well, he's got himself a Washington Redskins helmet on for this race. Dale Jarrett leading.
Joe Gibbs, who has said good athletes make hard stuff look easy. Tell you what, this one doesn't look easy even for a good athlete out here right now. Look at this battle for 4th.
4 car of Ernie Irvan trying to get around Bill Elliott. Elliott and the 4 have been going at it lap after lap.
Elliott back in 5th. Labonte just in front of them in 3rd. And Parsons. Phil Parsons back in 10th in that 41. Really impressed with what Phil has done here in this race.
Ran good all day long. They got behind early, but he's been running good as the day went on.
Here comes Ernie Irvan, closing down on the car number 22. The rookie in his first 600, Bobby Labonte. Irvan to the inside. Labonte fades a bit high in the Maxwell House car, and the Kodak machine down on the bottom. The Morgan McClure, car number 4 of Ernie Irvan, going for 3rd. Bobby Labonte matches him all the way down into the corner. Meanwhile, up in front,
first and
Jarrett is being challenged, and it's Schrader going into the lead. Schrader, the man who's set on the pole with a new record of 177 miles an hour, goes back into first place with 342 laps complete as they come by this time.
Comes the 4 car up under the 18.
Wow, what's happened to the 18? Think he got a bad set of tires?
That sequence of stops early, he got a big lead before, and now they're right there with him. He's having to run real hard. They wasn't gaining much on him a while ago, Ken, but it looks like he might be off with tires or something because they're pulling away from him too quick now.
Bobby Labonte hangs right on the bottom underneath Jarrett in the back straightaway. Now Bobby Labonte presses the metal. Joe Gibbs looking on as his car falls back another spot. Jarrett slipping back through the field a bit here. As they come back to the stripe, the 3 car has drawn away from the leader, Schrader, by about 25 car lengths. Lights are around the speedway as they hustle down into turn number 1.
As they came down the straightaway there, the 18 gave the 22 a little bit of a boost. He went around him and thought he was holding him up, keep shoving him down the straightaway a little bit, trying to get some running room. Jarrett doesn't want those leaders to get away from him. 22 is running good today.
Schrader first, Irvan second, Labonte third, Dale Jarrett fourth. Mark Martin is in 5th. Elliott is 6th, Earnhardt 7th, Spencer 8th, all in the lead lap. 344 laps now complete, 516 miles. Those final tough miles. Do you really notice the extra 100 miles when you get down to it?
But again, when you get in that race car, if they say, hey, we want to go 1,000 a day, you can hardly tell the difference. Fatigue might make a little bit of difference, but it's not bad on these drivers. They're used to doing a long distance. Once you buckle up, you're ready to run as long as they want to go.
Ken Schrader trying to get this victory, the 34th for the Rick Hendrick team, if they can pull it off today. Ernie Irvan is definitely closing ground, however. We'll be back with more of the story here in the Coca-Cola 600 shortly. Caution is on as Rusty Wallace has tagged the wall up here in turn 4. Remember that earlier today he had some problems, and Rusty Wallace in big trouble running 3 laps down. Has brought out another caution. This will bring the field all back together, Neil.
Yeah, the 3 car and the 12 car, Spencer and Earnhardt got that lap back by battling out front along with the 24 car. He was in front of the leaders.
7th caution of the day is the break that maybe Earnhardt needs, and it's a big break for Jimmy Spencer, the Bobby Allison team as well. The 2 car down on pit road being worked on after it brought out this caution period. They try to put this one back together, straighten out some tires on the right side. Schrader is in front. Irvin is in second. Jarrett in third. The guys in the back, they could come in for tires now into this caution thing. They've got nothing to lose. Would you want to give up a front spot here?
I don't know. It's going to be a tough call. You still got 50 laps to go. A long way to go in this race. I can't help but think these guys will come in and put some fresh tires on, because the ones on the tail end of the lead lap are surely going to do it.
75 miles remain to be run. 50 laps to go. 75 miles left. Pace car is coming by. Let's see who gambles among those 8 cars in the lead lap as they come down by.
Definitely.
And it looks like everybody.
But the 4 car stayed out.
The 4 car is going to stay on Ernie Irvin. Now let's not forget that Ernie Irvin,
let's go down to Dick Berger with the 18 car.
Is another guy with a crack at $1 million in this deal. We'll talk about that in a moment. Here's Dick Berger.
Ken Dale Jarrett desperately needed this stop. In the last pit stop, he got 4 new tires, but they didn't match up correctly, and the car was not running well. He came back on the radio and said, we really need a caution flag. This is the caution that he needed. 4 tires going on. Hope they match for Dale Jarrett. Randy?
Well, Kenny Schrader is in, 4 tires in. No chassis adjustments on this car. Crew looks good. Car's down and away. Oh, he beats Mark Martin, or does he?
Does not. Mark Martin seems to be getting by him as they come down pit road. 3:51 complete, and we'll be back for the exciting, dramatic finish of the Coca-Cola 600 in a moment. We're just back under green as they come around to complete the first lap under green. Ernie Irvin is out in front. Ken Schrader is in second. Bobby Labonte in third. Jeff Gordon in fourth. And falling back some is Spencer. Is Mark Martin's number 6. We can get the story as he comes on to pit road from.
He's going behind the wall, Ken.
I think he's going right back behind the wall and into the garage area. Let's see if we can get a report down on pit road as to what happened to car number 6.
They didn't know in his own pit what was happening, Ken. The radio communications were such that the pit could talk to Mark, but Mark couldn't talk to the pit. I had to tell the crew that the engine was smoking and that they were having problems. It appears to be a lost engine. Martin has lost 4 engines in 9 World 600 attempts.
Take a look at the struggle up in front. Here comes Schrader and Irvin. Even across as they go down into turn 3. The 21 car, Morgan Shepherd down a bit. Here comes Earnhardt getting into it. Struggle is for the lead.
Irvin's leading the race. Schrader and Earnhardt are battling for second place. Side by side, the 21 cars down some laps.
They put him down a lap, but back he comes. Earnhardt is right back in it again on the outside of Kenny Schrader. Jeff Gordon very much with the program is in fourth in that lead lap. And Spencer is there. Around the outside, Earnhardt picking up the spot. Now remember, Ernie Irvin won one of those qualifying races in the Winston Series for that $1 million bonus. He was successful at Talladega. Dale Jarrett was successful at Daytona. The next step is here. If one of those two comes home today, and they would have a shot at $1 million. Things get sugared off Labor Day weekend at Darlington.
There's Bill Elliott in the 11 car, the 18 of Jarrett, and the 22 battling back here.
6 is Elliott, 7th is Jarrett.
Here goes Bill Elliott trying the outside of Spencer going down the corner.
8th is Bobby Labonte. That Morgan Shepherd car is being shown on the tail end as the 9th car. With that last set of stops, the 21 car got picked up in the lead lap.
Let's go down to the pits. They got Johnny Hayes is down with Mark Martin in the garage area. Let's find out what happened with him.
Mark, you had a great run. Looks like the motor went away right then. What happened?
Yeah, we burned a piston or something. Golly, it's a shame. We might have had a shot to win that thing. We didn't have the fastest car for once in a while, and I believe we had a shot at it. You know, we had great pit stops and everything, and Ernie was on used tires. We were fixing to be able to pass him pretty easy, and we might have been able to hold him off, but Goodyear had a great tire. Those radial tires run all night long, and no sweat. Our car kept running good, but it just wasn't quite fast enough. Didn't quite have the right setup to just go take the thing, but we could have raced them for it.
Thanks a lot.
What a battle for the lead. Earnhardt and Ernie Irvan wheel to wheel, and Earnhardt goes back in front. Schrader coming with him. You saw Earnhardt go right down to the grass as he battled. First tried the outside, through the dummy coming out of turn 4, then ducked to the inside, coming down to the trial. We need to look at that one again.
Here he tried Irvan high. Irvan was up there. He went low to go under him. This is a la passing the grass and win the Winston a few years ago. Earnhardt has made that move stick. Irvan comes down the inside. Earnhardt's right up under him going down the corner. Irvan slid up. Earnhart took the lead.
He won the Winston a week ago on this track, and now Earnhardt has come back from a lap down. Look at this battle for third. 21-year-old Jeff Gordon going wheel to wheel with Ernie Irvan. Lap 362 to 400.
Boy, something you've got to think about. Irvan did not stop and put tires on that last stop. The rest of these guys put new tires on. They might have just a little bit of an edge right now.
Rolling up is Dale Jarrett in the number 18. He's in. Dale Jarrett in the. Here comes the 24 back another time. Gordon and Irvan still wheel to wheel in the back straightaway. Dale Jarrett has moved around Bill Elliott and taken 5th. Elliott falls to 6th. Spencer is in 7th. Bobby Labonte in 8th.
Boy, they touched real hard right there. They got together pretty hard coming in that little dogleg section on the front straightaway. Got him straightened back out. Irvan's caught on that outside. It's going to enable Jarrett and the green 18 to move right up on the inside of him
for 4th.
There's Bill Elliott right behind the 4 car. He's looking for a place to go.
You're watching it live on this Memorial Weekend from the Charlotte Motor Speedway here on TBS. Chevrolet running 1st through 5th as we get down toward the finish. 365 of 400 laps complete.
Ernie Irvan's not going to have any paint left on that inside. Every one of these guys are getting together coming off turn 4, rubbing them around a little bit, getting late in the race, time to go. Slide out, close the door. New wheel marks on the side of that 4 car for the last couple of laps.
Rusty Wallace's car number 2 back out here again. I thought that had gone behind the wall, but
it had a lot of damage, Ken. They did a lot of work on it and got him back out trying to finish the race.
Yeah, I believe they had the word out to put him behind the wall, but he's out here and still running back in that 27th position. Let's go to Randy Pemberton for more on that.
Well, NASCAR has radioed the team that Rusty has to pick up 3 seconds a lap or they're going to put him behind the wall. And let me tell you, that's devastating for a team that's second in points.
And just as you say that, we see in the shot as they come by, he turned down pit road. He was probably going all he could go when he had to turn it down pit road.
Schrader is closing in on Earnhardt. Pole sitter Schrader closes back up on Dale Earnhardt to within a car length.
We saw Schrader a while ago, capable of driving up from the rear, worked through a lot of traffic, took the lead. Earnhardt took the lead. Now Schrader's all over him again.
368 laps complete this time by. It's still Earnhardt seeking that 3rd victory in the 600. Schrader staying right there, moving up Jarrett's to 4th and closing on Gordon. He'll be back in a moment.
You're looking at the action as the leaders work down the backstretch in Charlotte from the steel aerial platform. Good to have you back with us here on TBS at Charlotte Motor Speedway, our live coverage of the Coca-Cola 600. Gentlemen, we're really happy to see here is Ted Musgrave out of Wisconsin. What happened with you this afternoon?
Well, what happened, I guess I left the lug nuts loose on the left rear tire, and going down turn 3, it come off, and it ruined the whole exhaust system, and all I could breathe was carbon monoxide for a long time, and I just got dizzy. I just had to come in and get somebody else get in there, and Derek Cope's out there, and he's doing a well a job. He's complaining about the same thing, but hopefully he can hang on.
You're looking very well. That's good to see. Now, they took great care of you in the infield care center.
They did. They gave me a lot of oxygen. I just got a lot of carbon monoxide in my bloodstream right now, so if I go lay down for a while, I should be all right.
All right, well, we'll look forward to seeing you back here in the next go-around.
I just want to make sure my mom and dad knew that.
Well, you're looking well. It's good to see you, Ted. Thanks for stopping by. Ted Musgrave feeling a whole lot better this afternoon. Glad to see his car out there doing well in the hands of Derek Cope right now.
Musgrave's car with Derek Cope aboard now is running in 28th position. Remember when we started the day, the temperature was just about 90 degrees. Now back under 80. And again, from Neil Bonnet, that means
speed. You go faster, you get tighter, and you adjust on your race car. And it seems like The Schrader car got good when it got cool again. We saw the 21 car right there, Morgan Shepherd. I said he was laps down. That's my era. He's on the tail end of the lead lap. He's battling just like Earnhardt was to keep from going a lap down again. So that's the 21 car out front on the tail end lead lap. Earnhardt with Schrader all over him.
Neil, we're just about approaching the time when the 55 car qualified the other night here for the pole at a record 177 miles per hour, breaking Bill Elliott's old mark of 175. Looks to me like as the evening wears on here, we get down on these final laps, 375 now complete, 25 laps to go. Favors Schrader. Remember, the Earnhardt car didn't run that well in qualifying. Of course, he started earlier. That's unfair. Earnhardt's car came out in still pretty much the heat of the afternoon.
You know, we heard Schrader say he's going with what ran good the other night.
Exactly.
These people have been practicing back and forth all day. I think the guys that really use their head just went with what was good at the night racing. I'm telling you, it's cool out there now. This track is nothing at all like when this race started. We've seen some of the front contenders early not be here now, so it's coming to them.
Back in 1991, Davey Allison won this race. Ken Schrader came home in second spot. Here he is running second at the present time to the two-time champion, the 86 and 92 winner, Dale Earnhardt, as we get ready to sort this one out. Earnhardt reels him in, and then Schrader reels him in, then Earnhardt unlimbers that thing and just draws away, as he is right now, to about a 6-7 car length advantage.
You got to keep in mind where Earnhardt's car has been really good is diving deep in the corner. What he's wanting to do is go ahead and get around this 21 car of Checkered where he can take advantage of that long drive off in the corner. When he follows someone, he has to roll out of the throttle a little early. Looks like he's getting by the 21 now.
Fading back through the field. There you see the 25 car in second spot, Schrader, and there's the 24. A little further back in third position, Jeff Gordon, the rookie, leading rookie points up to third spot.
Ken, I've got to tell you, that was a nice move on the 21 car. Morgan Shepherd, he let Earnhardt by, and when Schrader got there, he could have gave him a hard time because there was a gap in between them, but he moved over and let Schrader go also. This is the 24 car, Jeff Gordon.
And there's the 18 car that is running in fourth position. Had the lead. He and Labonte had a lap on the field. Now he finds himself in fourth with a lot of making up to do at lap 379. Slim chance of that.
We saw him earlier, you know, he's running for a lot of money, and they had that set of pit stop work out right, and Jarrett really took off and got him a big lead, but looks like he's falling back. He said he couldn't get the same feel with the tires he had with the other set. He's having a little problem. Speaking of tires, here's the 4 car of Ernie Irvin. They didn't stop that last time. I'm not so sure it did cost them a little bit.
Running in 5th position is Ernie Irvin. Out back is Bill Elliott in 6th, Jimmy Spencer in 7th, and Bobby Labonte is running in 8th. And everybody is chasing the man in black, Dale Earnhardt, here at the 600. Great aerial shots from the Steel folks as we get down here to the end of this race at lap 384 around the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Earnhardt is in command. Pretty impressive sight, this 1.5-mile track under the lights.
I tell you, they did a great job of lighting this place. We've said it before. They were concerned when they went to night racing if they would have enough light. They went to overkill. They overlit this place. It's better at night than it is in the daytime. It's real consistent. There's not a place on the track that there's any darkness.
Here's Earnhardt out in front. Earnhardt has said about records. Babe Ruth's record for home runs was unreachable. Henry Aaron broke it. He said Ty Cobb's record for hits unreachable. Pete Rose broke it. He said Richard Petty's record, 7 Winston Cup championships, unreachable. That's what he told Tom Higgins a while ago. He's won that championship 5 times. He's up on top in the point standings, and he'll get a further step up today with a finish of this if he can just stay where he is. And the guy that's won this race more than any other is Darrell Waltrip at 5. If Earnhardt can stay in front now, this will be his 3rd victory in the 600. You penalize him a lap, and you might just as well stick your mitt in a beehive.
Yeah, you know, they were running as hard as they could go, and then when that penalty thing came, it looked like he got a little upset. He took off on the thing, and he's checking out on it. Now, here's Bill Elliott, the number 11 car in the 12. This is for 6th position. These guys are going at it hard. Spencer got that lap back at the same time Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon did. He's trying to take advantage of it.
Here comes Jimmy Spencer trying to give that Bobby Allison team a great day. Taking their knocks, but they've been much stronger recent. They had a recent 2nd place finish, and for the moment they are looking very good out here. Jimmy Spencer right up behind Bill Elliott as we get down to Indy.
Look how light it looks in the infield. They've got so much lighting in this place. The entire infield and the track is perfect. I'm telling you, it's nice. I see us on top of the building up here, Ken.
Jimmy Spencer, who's had a bad time here. This is his 4th start in the 600. Never came up better than 21st. He is really rambling out here today. There's your 2nd and 3rd place, and Jeff Gordon as we get down toward 10 laps to go. 389 complete next time by on the leader.
Yeah, this is teammates. It's heating up between the team right now. Rick Hendricks owns the 25 car right here and also the 24 car directly behind him with 10 to go. And I tell you what, the teammates are going to have a battle.
10 to go this time by. Gordon closing on pole sitter Ken Schrader. And drawing away is Earnhardt. What a remarkable story. Earnhardt came in here. He did not qualify well. He was angry on pole position qualifying night. Showed a lot of frustration about that. And there you see the interval between the black number 3 and Ken Schrader, as well as Jeff Gordon.
It's about a half a straightaway right now. Jeff Gordon is really running Schrader down right now, catching him in a big hurry.
Jeff Gordon, the rookie, coming up here. Bobby Labonte back in 8th spot, the other rookie in this lead lap. What a time for freshman racers in Winston Cup racing. Usually Charlotte is dominated by the guys that have been around a while, running 600 miles in this 1.5 mile track. But here you got a couple of freshman standouts having a great performance. Earnhardt in 1st, and now the battle's beginning to heat up for 2nd. Down to the inside comes Gordon. Jeff Gordon on the bottom of the racetrack. And the kid goes up into 2nd spot, and Schrader falls to 3rd. Indiana and Missouri 2nd and 3rd respectively out here. The Hendrick cars putting on a show in the final moments. 8 laps to go this time by. It's Jarrett back in 4th, Irvin in 5th, Elliott 6th, Spencer 7th, Labonte in 8th, Morgan Shepherd a lap down in 9th, Jeff Bodine in 10th, and Darrell Waltrip in 11th.
Johnny Hayes is down with Rusty Wallace in the garage. Let's go see what Rusty's deal is.
Rusty, you had a good run, then we had a problem. What happened?
Yeah, the car was good. I mean, I started the race, I was real loose. I got way back, and we kept working on it, and I finally got really good. And I got to 5th there, then got up to 3rd, made a good pit stop, and come out racing Elliott for the lead there. And I had the air pressures really low in the car, and I didn't give him enough time to let the things air up, and I got too aggressive underneath him coming off of turn 2. Got in the throttle too early and spun the car out. And really, it wasn't that bad a deal. It didn't hurt it too bad. It was still running fast enough. We made a toe-out adjustment, and it was too far. And we went out there the last time, and it lost the right front tire and went up in turn 3 wall. Couldn't stop it. When the tire went down, that was all she wrote.
Well, for you, that's just a minor mishap. Thanks a lot.
It's been a minor mishap compared to what I've been through. I'd like to say hello to everybody.
Rusty Wallace. Disappointing night for him as he really takes a hit in that point battle with Earnhardt.
Rusty and I were sitting in the garage watching the end of the Indy race today. And after Penske's car won the race, he said, "Oh, no pressure." He said, "My boss won Indy. What do I do now?"
395 complete this time by as Earnhardt steadies for this final 5-lap drive. Set down a lap after an altercation in turn 4. He remedies that situation. Another caution coming out, fighting his way right back into the lead from the 14th qualifying position. He's the man to beat.
He's still pacing himself wide open. That's the way he paces.
From the very beginning, from the outset, Earnhardt has run it wide open for 600 miles. I must tell you, Jimmy Spencer has really put on a show as well, in my estimation. He had that 2nd place finish at Talladega. That Allison team, Jimmy Fennig and company, has really come alive in the past 6 weeks. And they're going to be in for another good finish tonight. Looks like they're going to wind up in the top 10 at 7th. Here's Schrader, who just was nailed by Jeff Gordon and fell back into the 3rd spot.
They want to go down to the pits. We've got Randy down in Earnhardt's pit. Let's see what's going on down there. See if things have changed, Randy.
Well, they've got a little bit of an attitude around here, but understandably so. They're all got serious looks on their faces. Mr. Childress standing here as well as Andy Petrie. They're not saying a whole lot right now. They're just, I think they're thinking justification here.
I think they're letting that little black 3 talk for them right now. That thing has really been clicking today. And it's just, you know, they've really had a good day up. You know, you get step back like that and be able to come back. He lost a lap by the caution, then he got lost on the penalty to come back and win this thing. They worked hard today.
3 laps to go on Earnhardt. As you get a look at this massive Charlotte Motor Speedway, enjoying what so many Americans enjoy on a Memorial weekend, a stock car race. But this is among the elite of stock car racing, the Winston Cup Tour. And for the moment, it's all Dale Earnhardt, champion many times over, running these laps out. It'll be interesting to see what he says when he gets to pit road at the conclusion of this one, as you look at his crew on pit road. 2 to go for Earnhardt, awaiting the decision on this one. Battle for third beginning to build. Here's Jarrett chasing down Schrader. The Schrader car must be slightly off here. Jeff Gordon ran him down. Now here comes Dale Jarrett pacing himself in these final 2 laps, closing dramatically in the back straightaway.
Yeah, they're coming up some lap cars right in front of Kenny Schrader. Some cars are going to enter into what happens. 1 to go.
White flag is down. 1 to go. 145, 430 mile an hour average. It's just about a 10th better for a new record if they can stay with it. As we watch this battle further back in the field, that's third spot in jeopardy. Out in front is Earnhardt, sailing away toward his third Coca-Cola 600 victory. Here to the inside comes the 18. Down to the line comes the 3. They're side by side in a battle further back in the field for third. Back to the line comes Earnhardt to win it. Across in second will be Gordon. Here they are for third. At the stripe, it will be Jarrett. Dale Jarrett defeating Schrader as they come to the stripe to end 600 miles, 400 laps in the 34th annual Coca-Cola 600.
600 miles and you beat a guy by a foot. That's something else.
It's Earnhardt. What a program for that Goodwrench Chevy.
The other night, I saw him as emotional as ever after he won the Winston. This might top it.
We'll see. We'll meet the winner in victory lane in just a moment here on TBS. Dale Earnhardt. Well, Dale Earnhardt has just completed a Kowicki victory lap, put the car in reverse, drove around the track, waved to the fans, and is just now pulling into victory lane. And nobody's leaving. Everybody up, cheering after this dramatic 600-mile race in which the winner was penalized a lap. This was the turnaround and the moment he gave the fans. And as you see him take this lap, Neil, you know what he reminds me the most of, a performance like this, is that guy named A.J. Foyt, who retired at Indianapolis earlier this month. You get his dander up just a little and he's right on the dime. A lot of drivers just throw it away at a time when they get their dander up. Never was the case with AJ. He'd come out fighting and he'd come out winning, and Earnhardt's the very same kind of driver. Racer is the better word. They're drivers and they're racer. That's a racer.
Yeah, he gets after it. When it gets tough and you get down, that's the kind of guy you need sitting in that seat.
Well, he's just about to climb out of that seat. We'll be able to get a word with him after this great performance for his third 600 win here at Charlotte, North Carolina. Watching it live tonight on TBS Under the Lights. Pleasure having you with us. Hope you've enjoyed the race as much as we have. Jeff Gordon winds up second, and it was Dale Jarrett third. Let's go down to Dick Bergman.
Well, Dale Earnhardt still in his car now, fixing his cap, getting ready to get out of the race car. He wants to talk to us as soon as he gets out of the car, taking a little wipe off the dirt off his face, getting the sweat off. It's been a hot night. Earnhardt now getting ready to come out, cleaning off the dirt off his right shoe, and that's the one that was pushing so hard. Earnhardt takes a quick drink of Gatorade. Here he comes. Winner of the Coca-Cola 600 on the way out of the car, Dale Earnhardt. As the fireworks go off behind him, there were some fireworks on the racetrack tonight too, Dale Earnhardt. What happened up there with you and Greg Sachs?
Well, I really didn't get into him. I don't know why they penalized me. He got loose in the air and spun out. I was just close. It was close.
Now, when you got penalized, did you get angry? Did it make you drive faster?
Well, it didn't make you happy, but you know, I did all I could do just to get my lap back, and we got that back, caught a caution. And get back in front, it's hard to believe.
Big kiss for wife Teresa. everybody was talking about how the weather was going to change this racetrack around. Did it?
Well, it did, but our car was a little bit off at first, I thought. As it got cooler, it got better. It got real good at the end.
You're still puffing. You winded?
Well, I got a little emotional taking that lap for Allen, and you know, everybody here at Charlotte remembers him well. We miss him a lot. Ain't nobody can, you know, bring him back now, but all we do is have good memories of him.
Dale Earnhardt, victory lane, has just taken a victory lap for Alan Kowicki.
Hardly any member of the 162,000 gathered have left as they celebrate the victory of Dale Earnhardt in the 34th 600. We have a new track record. We'll tell you a little about that, but right now let's meet that 21-year-old who came home in second place tonight, Jeff Gordon.
Well, Jeff Gordon over here talking with the media. Jeff, there it goes, 600 miles. Wasn't so bad, was it?
No, not bad at all. I tell you, when you got a car working as well as mine was today and you're in the hunt all day long, we had to come from behind. I missed a pit one time. We had a bad pit stop, but we gained our lap back, finished second. You know, I mean, anytime you run second to Dale Earnhardt, that's great. And Hendrick Motorsports had a second and a third, or I think Kenny ended up third. So we're real happy with this DuPont Chevrolet.
Anything at all you could have done with the car? I heard over the radio you and Kenny's car both a little tight towards the end. Did you pick up a little thing, put it in your notebook for later on?
Well, the tighter the car got, the more patient I had to be. I had to slow my pace down and just ease it into the corner and get it turned and go. And, you know, every pit stop I said, guys, can we loosen it up? Can we loosen it up? And they were loosening it up for me. It's just the track kept getting tighter and tighter. So we've learned a lot. When we come back here in October, we're going to have something for them.
Great run tonight, Jeff. Dick Berggren is standing by in victory lane with the winning car owner tonight, Richard Childress. Dick?
Well, after 2 penalties, 1 for a full lap, did you really think this guy could pull it out for you tonight?
Yeah, you know, with Dale Earnhardt behind the wheel, you never give up. And this team, you know, I just kept telling everybody, be cool. We got time to win the race, and we got the car, and I knew we had the driver. You know, Dale Earnhardt will go down in history as probably the greatest race driver. And I know he is in my book.
Thinking championship already?
Well, you know, you do everything you can early in the season to try to get to the championship at the end of the year, and we just want to be in a position at the end of the year to go for the championship.
Ken, I've been in a lot of victory lanes. This one is as emotional as any I have ever seen.